talking a little bit more about later. So I'm going to say hello to you people. So we've got Madrid, New York, Belgium, Poland. God, it's going so fast. Lisbon, Sweden, India, Oslo, Buenos Aires. Oh, I always wanted to go to Buenos Aires. Estonia, UAE, Amsterdam, Latvia. Wow. A lot of you coming in. I can't even read your names. I'm sorry. Otherwise, I should give you a shout out, but maybe you'll get a shout out later. So, welcome. I hope you're all having a great day today. And I'm so glad that you're here because today is not just another webinar. And if you've been on these webinars before, you know that I say that every time, but it's because it's true. Because this is a live transformational experience with Marissa. It's not just an information session where we're going to bombard you with lots of information. You're actually going to get to experience RTT in real time. So you're going to experience an RTT live process. And today we're focusing on self-sabotage. So if you feel like something's been standing in your way and that one thing has actually been yourself, you are in the right place because we're going to be looking at self-sabotage. And Marissa's going to do an experience all about removing those blockers and installing that inner cheerleader within you to help you move forward. So, what's coming up? So, some of you today might be here because you're thinking of perhaps training in RTT. Maybe you've heard about it, you've been thinking about it for a while. Others of you will be here because you're like, I just want to come for the experience because Marissa always gives us an amazing experience every single time we do one of these webinars. And that's absolutely fine. And some of you will be here to do both. So what I would love you to do is just pop in the chat whether you are here for me, you're just here for the experience, you're here for the Marissa session, or train me because you're thinking maybe about training as an RTT therapist yourself, or both. Maybe you're here for both. Maybe you want to have the experience and for look at training in RTT. So pop it in the chat so I can have a look. Both. Me, train, both. Me, train, lots. Okay, brilliant. Well, you're all in exactly the right place. So I'm going to tell you what's coming up in the next 90 minutes. So we're going to talk a little bit about why motivation fades and self-sabotage might be holding you back, and how that's linked to potentially the hidden identities and roles that you might be experiencing and playing out in your life, but not necessarily consciously aware of. As I mentioned, Marissa's going to do an amazing live RTT transformation for you, including installing your inner cheerleader. And she's going to come back and do a Q&A right after that as well. I'm going to be telling you a little bit about my journey with RTT and life now as a therapist. And actually, very special today, we've got a very special guest coming in at the end, one of our amazing graduates, to talk about how RTT has changed his life and how he is now living his life as an RTT therapist and living his very best life. So yes, lots of exciting things coming up. But now, without further ado, you've heard from me for the last 5 minutes, so I'm going to hand you over to the lady who needs no introduction at all, the amazing, the wonderful, the just off the plane from Dubai, just landed in London, Marissa Pearce. So over to you, Marissa, and thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you. It's so nice to be here. It's always kind of weird. Last night I was giving a talk about my book, this amazing theatre in Dubai, and then I kind of got on the plane at 3 a.m. and woke up here, and here I am. And I was asking all the women in the room, because it was mostly women, a few men, about successful women. I know we're not all women on here. I hope there's a lot of men. But it's amazing how they couldn't really think of very many successful women. They all said Emma Grede, Emma Grede, Emma Grede. A few said Stella McCartney, but they couldn't really think of anyone who was really successful, which I was very surprised about. Obviously, Sheryl Sandberg. But I notice with so many people that when you ask them so let me go back. So one of the women in my group, I was asking them how I could help them because I always want to help people overcome their blocks. And she was saying, I'm an accountant and I really want to be successful, but I fear that I won't have time to be with my children, they'll all suffer. And I asked her who she knew as a woman, or indeed a man, who had a great career and was a good parent. And she couldn't think of anybody. I said, well, that doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be someone you know. It can be somebody famous. You could say, well, do I know anyone who's famous who appears to have everything? And again, most people don't know, but I want you to think today, what if I had a magic wand? If this was a magic wand, it's actually a nail file, and I could go abracadabra, think of something you require. And for the rest of this talk today, I don't want to use the word want ever, because want comes from like, again, I just want a good night's sleep. Oh my God, I'm so hot. I want an ice cream. I want money. I want health. But when you say the word want, you are coming from lack. And I love giving people really handy little hints that can change their life. And when you say require, it's very different. And so last month I was teaching in Corfu. I was teaching from the stage, and I was talking about this thing about don't say I want it, say I require it. I never say, God, I want to go to this. I go, I require sleep to come in. This girl said, you know, I was in one of your seminars, and I heard you say, when you get into bed, I say, I require sleep to come. So last night, 3 a.m., I'm on a plane. I thought, you know, I require sleep to come to me right now, and I'm going to stay sleeping until it's wheels up time. And she said, every time I say that I require sleep to come to me, I sleep. So this guy, I met him later, and he said, you know, it's so bizarre. So I went home after the talk and I went through my journal, and I noticed that I want this money that's owed to come in. I want this money that's owed to come back. I want this. And he said, I crossed it all out and I put, I require me to be paid back. I require, and he said, within 3 weeks, it all came back. I got all of that money back. He said, like, that can't be a coincidence. I've been chasing this guy for 2 years for this debt. And when I said require, not want, back it came. So just for today, let's not say want. I want you to close your eyes if you want to, just for 30 seconds, and think of what you require. Is that wealth? Is that love? Is it being super healthy? Is it feeling peaceful? Is it having happiness and joy in your life? I want you to think about what you require. And I'd love you to put it in the chat bar because we're all here to help each other out. Put it in the chat bar. And then I want you to think about what's got in your way. What stops you having your requirements? You know, if I went into a shop and said, hey, I love these jeans, but I require them in a size 8 because these are a size 12, I'd expect them to find them, and I'd expect them to order them in. I wouldn't expect to say, well, I can't have them, you know, they've only got them in the wrong size. So what do you require? That's the first question. And please put it in the chat bar. Let's make this super, super interactive. What do you require? And I'm going to read some of them out. Actually, I'm going to open a door because it's so, so hot in here. So just forgive me for 1 minute. It's some air. What do you require? So I require self-acceptance, wealth and health, abundance. If they're going through so quickly, I can hardly read them. I require connection, love, sleep. Okay, and now I want you to tell me underneath that, because I keep writing, what gets in your way? Why do you think you haven't got that? Have you ever had it? Has something stopped you having it? Excuse me, you're upside down, just need even more air. Sorry about that. I require my partner. I get in my way. So you're so actually good at putting these in that as they come in, they're just going off the screen. What's getting in your way? Approval, outside approval, fear. If I get it, I'll lose it. Autoimmune disease. I require my fear and my doubt. Self-sabotage, procrastination. I don't think I'm worth it. Fear and doubt, fear and doubt. Okay. So the same things are coming up over and over again, which doesn't surprise me because that's always the case. And it's really important to look at how do you stop yourself. You know, when I was 25 and I was a new therapist, I hypnotized a very famous writer with writer's block. And I fixed him. And he wrote an article for The Guardian. And The Guardian actually called, from The Guardian, a publisher called me and said, hey, you know, we read this article. Could you write a book? I'm like, yeah, sure. I've never written a book before. They came to my house. They gave me a check. And, you know, I actually gave it back. I couldn't write the book. I couldn't write the book because I kept thinking, oh my God, I'm 25 years old. I mean, how can I write a book? I'm going to sit at home by myself because writing is very solitary on my own. And I actually blocked myself by saying, I can't do it. How am I going to find the time? How can I motivate myself to sit at home every night and write this book when everyone else is out and I'm 25 years old? And eventually I gave them back the advance. And now I've just finished my 8th book because I don't believe that anymore. But I got in my own way with this belief. It's too lonely. Writing a book is too solitary. It's so boring. It's hard work. I don't know if I can shut myself away like that. Now I actually love shutting myself away to write a book. So your thoughts get in your way. We think a thought creates a feeling creates an action. I've just done a podcast with Matt Willis, and he literally had a picture of the ladder of looping thoughts. We were going through it with the audience. I think a thought, my thought creates a feeling, the feeling creates an action which I justify with the thought. So my thought was, writing a book is going to be really hard, lonely work. That was the thought. The feeling was, oh, I don't want to do that. And the behavior was, I didn't do it because, let's finish the loop, writing a book is hard, lonely, solitary work, and I'm too young to stay in every night and write. So I made a loop. I thought a thought, boring, solitary, hard work, too young. That made me feel really blocked. And the behavior was I didn't write the book. I couldn't even open at the time, I couldn't even open my computer and do it. I just had to give the money back to them. So I want you to write in, I want you to make this a loop. It's what I call the ladder of looping thoughts. I want you to write a thought, a negative thought, because we're talking here about self-sabotage. What is a self-sabotaging thought you might have? And I'm going to show you how to do it, and we're all going to do it. It might be, I'm no good with confrontation. I don't know how to ask my boss for a raise. I'm scared of going for that review. I really want that job, but I'm worried about the interview. These are just the thoughts. I'd love to date that person, but I don't know how to ask them out. So first we've got the thought. It must be negative. It must be a limiting thought. It must be a self-sabotaging thought. I'd love that, but I want to ask that person, I want that job, I want that money, I want to have a kid. But then I want you to write the feeling you feel when you think that thought. And the feeling, let me give you a clue. They're no good feelings. It'll be a feeling of, well, what if I'm not enough? What if it all goes wrong? What if I do it and it's awful? What if I write that book and it's so bad nobody ever buys it? It gets horrible reviews. And then I want you to write how you behave. Think a thought, feel a feeling. How do you behave? And then you go back to the thought. I want that pay rise, but I'm so scared of getting it wrong. So I feel anxious. So I don't go for the pay rise because I'm scared of getting it wrong. So I want you to make this loop, and I'm going to look at some of your answers. I know the job I'm doing burns me out, but I'm scared. Hold on, I've got to keep this here. But I'm scared and unsure what to do next. I also don't believe I deserve to have it easy, so I make it hard. Yeah, these are very much, this is all self-sabotage, procrastination. They might think I'm too old. I'm afraid I can't cope with another person trying to control me, so I stay alone and independent. That's very interesting. So your thought is, if I went out into the business world, somebody would try to control me. That must have happened to you before, and therefore I stay alone. You know, I worked with a guy, I've written about it in this book, who he worked in a very basic job, and he'd been there for like 20 years. And all his colleagues got promoted and promoted, and he just stayed at the basic level. And he never went above it. And when I asked him why, he said, when I was at school, I was really badly bullied. And because I was so badly bullied, I never want to put my hand above the parapet in case I'm bullied again. So I stay where I am. And he said, you know, I kind of see this job, the workforce, as just bullies. I see the world as a playground and everyone in it bullies, and they could all hurt me. And because they could hurt me, I stay down here. I never apply for more because I'm scared of being bullied. Then he realized he hadn't been bullied for probably, he was 42, hadn't been bullied since he was 12. So he hadn't been bullied for 30 years. He was letting the period of his life, which was horrible, being bullied, affect his entire life. And he realized, these are not bullies. These are my colleagues. These are my co-workers. These people like me. They're not here to bully me. So as you can see, it's very, very hot in here. So I'm just cooling down a bit. Forgive me. I'm so used to having air conditioning in Dubai. They don't have such a thing in London. So he began to realize that he thought a thought. If I put myself out there and you notice me, you could bully me. That's a thought. The feeling is if you bully me, I will die. It will kill me. It was so awful the first time. So the behavior was, so I don't do anything because I'm scared of being bullied. The minute he identified that, he began to think, but no one's bullying me. And those people that bullied me at 12, if I met them today, they probably wouldn't be like that. They're probably unhappy people. And within a year, he was promoted and he's now got a different job. And he said, you know, I don't look for bullies now. I used to look for bullies everywhere I went. And now I look for friends, I look for colleagues, I look for people. Because one of the rules of the mind is whatever you look for, you will find. I'm going to tell you three very quick rules, and we're going to do a little activation. Here's a rule of your mind. Whatever you look for, you find. Whatever you focus on, you get more of. If I focus on being bullied, being humiliated, looking like an idiot, being stupid, if I focus on failing, that's where I'm going. And if I focus on, I can do this, that's where I'm going. So that's one of the rules. Here's another rule which will really help you. Your mind cannot hold conflicting beliefs, and we all do it. I want success, but I want success, but what if my kids don't see enough of me? I want love, but it would kill me if I got ghosted or they dumped me or I end up giving them half of everything I've got. I want a great body, but I couldn't live without pizzas. I want you to do one more thing. I like it being interactive. I want you to put in the chat bar the thing you say. So imagine you want something and you're going in this direction like a missile. You're going to what you want, let's say a car, not a missile. I want success. And when you say, but your life's never your own. When you have money, you don't know who your friends are. You have to work 7 days a week. And now you're driving that car in 2 lanes. I want to be successful, but I wouldn't have any time off. I'd never see my kids. I'd probably get an ulcer. It's too stressful. And if I made lots of money, well, you never know who your friends are then. So now you've got 2 lanes because you said but. So I want you to write down, I want XXX. You're going to fill that in, but, and I really want to hear the but. And then I'm going to show you how to change it so you keep your brain in 1 lane and you don't, you can't drive your car in 2 lanes. But we do when we say, I want love, but it never works out. And divorce is so expensive. I really want to be healthy, but I just couldn't live my life without pizza. I'd be so boring. I love going out at the weekend for Chinese takeout with all my friends, blah, blah, blah. So write down, I require, because we're not saying want, but, and then I just want you to change the but to and. So it's like this. I require a promotion, but I don't want to have to work all those extra hours. I require a great career, but I also want to be a great parent. And when you put, I require a great career and I can find a career where I can be with my kids. I require health and I just have pizza once a week. I require love. And if I find someone who has great partnerships, because if I look at someone, let's again look at Stella McCartney. She's been married for 30 years to Alistair. They got 4 amazingly amazingly normal, balanced kids. And they're very happy. I'm looking at Emma Grede. I'm reading her book right now. She appears to have all 4 beautiful kids, a husband who worships her, a great career. And she doesn't say, I want it, but she says, I require it. And so if you can constantly from now on say, I require it and instead of I want it, but I require it and. So I require to write a best-selling book and I found a way to do it. I write in the morning, I write in the evening. I find writing engrossing and compelling, and I really like it. I require to write a best-selling book, and I can also make it sell. I don't have to worry about what if people hate it, what if I get bad reviews. Some people will hate it. It will get the odd bad review. I just got one, somebody wrote on my podcast this week. Is it just me? I find this woman, Marissa Pearce, so boring. Everything she says is so inane and stupid. But that's okay because that's his opinion. Luckily, it's not mine. So we have to do the I require and instead of I want but. So this is a very simple thing. I require and, not I want but. Because these things start to smash self-sabotage. Self-sabotage comes from one thing and one thing only. And here it is. I'm not worth it. I really want to get that promotion, get that job, start my own business, get a pay rise. I want all of that, but I'm scared. And if you really write down what you're scared of failing, you're scared of people finding out you're not good enough. And usually that fear can be so bad and so hidden that we actually start to self-sabotage. We don't apply for the job in time. We don't spend enough time on our CV. And then we go, I could have got that job, but the thing is, I just left it until the last minute. I could have passed that exam, but I was up all night doing something else. At the last minute, I began to study and I just didn't leave enough time. But you know what you're really saying with all this procrastination and self-sabotage is, I was so scared of failing, I created something that I could blame. So many, many years ago, this girl came to see me and she got a leading part on Broadway. She was a dancer, it was her dream. But she had to lose 10 pounds, She had a nice figure. They said, no, you got to be, for this part requires you to be thinner. So she went on quite an extreme diet, lost the 10 pounds and put it all back on again. And then they sent her off to a spa, lost the 10 pounds, put it back on again. And she said, oh, I don't know what's wrong with my brain. I've got the 10 pounds off and I've got this part and I just go home and I eat and it's like I unconsciously want to put the weight back on. So that's it. Whenever you do something that you don't want and you keep going back to it, your brain says, you do want it and it serves a purpose. So I had her imagine going inside and finding the part of her that was driving her to regain the weight, sabotaging herself, deliberately eating, going to the spa, being really healthy, coming home and eating cakes and donuts and pizza against her will, but kind of it was her will too. And she said, I'm so scared of failing. I've always wanted to be a dancer on Broadway. I've never had it. What if I do it? And all the critics say, she was awful. She stank up the place. She was no good. And the fear is so deep. But if I keep gaining weight, I can always say, I coulda, woulda, shoulda had that role, but I was 10 pounds too heavy. So because it was in her contract that if she didn't keep this 10 pounds off, she would be replaced. So her take was interesting. As long as I'm too heavy, I can blame that. I could have had this great job, but I was just 10 pounds too heavy. I can tell my grandchildren, I could have been a dancer on Broadway, would have been amazing, but you see, just this 10 pounds. How do you do that? Do you ever say, I could have had this great relationship. I could have had that promotion. I could have had that job. But the thing that stopped me was XXX. And if you do, XXX is to stop you getting to the real fear. I'm just not enough. I might not be good enough. One day they might find out. So I want you to all close your eyes. And I want you to again go back and say, I require X and, rather than I want X, but I require X and then I want you to say I'm worth it. And I'm going to tell you why we're doing this in a minute, but for the moment, I simply want you to close your eyes and say out loud, I require X and I'm worth it. And I want you to say it over and over and over again. I require X and I'm worth it. I require a pay rise and I'm worth it. I require the most beautiful, loving relationship that lasts my entire life and I'm worth it. I require to be super healthy and I'm worth it. I require that promotion and I'm worth it. Keep saying it. I want you to say it at least 10 times because the mind learns by repetition. And as you keep saying it, four things are going to happen. You're going to go, wow, this actually feels quite nice. Or you might say, I feel really quite angry doing this because I don't believe it. You might say, it makes me feel so sad. Don't believe it. Or you might say, well, I'm dismissing this is just silly old woo-woo. But it's not, it's quantum physics. So keep saying it. I require it and I'm worth it. You see, 80% of your success in having a loving relationship or a great career or a great body is I'm worth it. I'm worth it. So I'm not eating pizza. I'm worth it. So I'm not eating donuts. I'm worth it. So I want you to keep doing it 5 more times. I require and I'm worth it. While I read some of these, I require perfect health and I'm worth it. I require a beautiful workplace and I'm worth it. I require wisdom and I'm worth it. Someone said, this is already bringing me to tears. Well, that's good because you're beginning to see that you are the blocker. You're the one that goes, oh, that's not going to happen. If your friend said, hey, I'm going to go for a pay rise, you wouldn't go, oh, darling, you'll never get it because you're rubbish. If they said, hey, I'm going to go for a promotion, oh, no, don't bother. You're no good. We are so unkind to ourselves. You are the one saying it won't work. They might have found out you're rubbish. And you're the one saying it, you can stop it. So let's just do this a few more times. I require X and I'm worth it. I require X and I'm worth it. I require X and I'm worth it. And now with your eyes closed, I want you to see if you can move the sad feeling, the angry feeling, or the dismissive feeling to, actually, I really like this feeling. You just have to do it more. Another rule of the mind is the mind learns by repetition. Repetition is the mother of all skills. I want it and I'm worth it. And I want you to just say this 5 times out loud now, not in your head. I want you to shout at the screen. I want you to state it, affirm it, embody it. Don't mumble it. I want it and I'm worth it. I require it and I'm worth it. I require it and I deserve it. I require it and I'm worth it. 5 times. I require it and I'm worth it. I require it and I deserve it. I require it and I'm worthy. I require it and I'm deserving of it. And it's really shout it out. I require it and I'm worth it. Open your eyes. And you might notice you already changed your energy. In quantum physics, the most reliable science in the whole world says this: you and I are energy. And if you can change your energy, change your vibration, you can actually change your entire life. I was talking for Kayali in Dubai at Christmas time, and one of the women in the audience was the head of L'Oreal. And she said, L'Oreal tried to bury that "I'm worth it" for 20 years. One of the women in L'Oreal had come up with that slogan, and the men who ran it said, "No, we don't want women to think they're worth it. No, this is not a good idea at all." And she found it and said, no, 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 we're going to do it. And it's the most successful out of it in the world because it touches something in here. I'm worth it. So if you went back to being a newborn baby freshly out of your mother's womb, or even still in the womb, you would have, I'm worth it. I'm worth being fed. I'm worth somebody coming to see me in the middle of the night because I'm lonely. I'm worth being held. You could not have been born without I'm worth it. Because when you were in the womb, it was like being in the Four Seasons. It was always 75 degrees. You had 24-hour room service. Somebody was always there. And the minute you were born, you thought someone is coming because I'm worth it. So here's one more question before I do our activation. You were born with a belief that said somebody is coming because I'm worth it. Even if your mother handed you to the nurse and said this baby's going up for adoption, you still would have cried. You still would have had that belief. Someone is coming because I'm worth it. So I have one question for you only. Where did it go? Where did the I'm worth it go? And how did that lead you to procrastinate or self-sabotage? Where did it go? What happened? And what happens is often we get compared. We're scared of failing. We think everyone else is better than us. Comparison is the thief of all joy. So we're going to do something called installing the cheerleader. And all I want you to do before we start, because for the next 5 minutes, you're just going to listen to my voice. We're going to do this amazing activation, and I'm going to have you say some things out loud. And again, we don't mumble. We state it, we affirm it. We are doing quantum physics. We are changing our energy body. We're going to a different vibration. My thoughts create my feelings create my actions. Because of my thoughts, we're going to start thinking better thoughts. So I want you to look up like this, as if you're trying to look into your eyebrows. Look up, and keeping your eyeballs up, close your lids down. If you can do that, you will go into an alpha brainwave where you're much more receptive to these positive, powerful suggestions. So let's do it again. That was just a rehearsal. Look up, keep your eyeballs up, keep them up, and keeping your eyeballs up. Just close your eyelids all the way down. The minute you close your eyes, you can forget about the position of your eyelids completely. Keep your eyes closed until I ask you to open them, just for the next couple of minutes. I want you to drop your chin so you get a looking down sensation. Just mentally take yourself down 10 steps. You're going down step 10 and 9. You can see your feet, hear your feet, feel your feet connecting to every step you are taking. Step 8 and 7. As you take step 6, you are going deeper with every sound you hear. As you take step 5, the sound of my voice is taking you deeper. As you take step 4, each muscle, every nerve is turning loose, letting loose, and you are going deeper. As you take step 3, the sound of your heartbeat, the sound of your breathing, the sound of my voice is taking you deeper. As you take step 2, go deeper, deeper, deeper. Now you're taking step 1. Just go deeper, drift deeper, sink deeper, even deeper still. And as you go deeper, I want you to keep your eyes closed, and I want you to imagine that you have found a cheerleader. And a cheerleader has one job, and that is to believe in you, to cheer you on. A cheerleader never says, oh my God, today you stank up the place, you were awful, oh, you were dreadful. The cheerleader never does it on your worst day. They go, you did your best. You'll do even better next time. So the first step is I want you to imagine you have a cheerleader who's about to take up residence in your brain. You can have a cheerleader with pom-poms. You can actually have an entire cheerleading squad, male, female, both. You can have an animal cheerleader. You can have anything you want, but I want you to imagine you're designing your very own cheerleader, a cheerleading group of girls or cute boys or children or an animal. And you are going to tell this cheerleader right now, what do you need to hear? And this is not rocket science. What you want to hear is, you've got this. This has got your name all over it. Nobody can do this better than you. On your hardest days, what would a great cheerleader say to you? Just think about that for a few minutes. We've got all the time in the world to do this. We're going to make it amazing. If a cheerleader lived in your head and they had one role only, and that was to make you have phenomenal self-belief, to radiate confidence, to radiate high self-esteem, to say, I can do it, I can do it. What would they say to you? Because we each have our own words. I can't tell you the exact words for you, but you can. So first of all, I want you to think of what you need to hear when you're going for that promotion, that pay rise, starting your own business, dating someone that you really want to spend your life with, when you're pushing yourself to do more, when you're moving towards your potential, when you're taking yourself to a new dimension of self-belief. What kind of things do you need to hear? Of course, one of them is, you're worth it. You deserve this. You are worthy of this career, this job, this relationship. You're worth it. You're worthy of having this great body. You're worthy of being healthy. You're worthy of experiencing joy and love and happiness. But let's go one step further. I want you to imagine if your parents had a degree in raising you, if just before you were born they did a course and they got a full-time honors degree in raising you with high self-esteem, what might they have said? And again, this is not rocket science. They would say, parenting you is the joy of my life. How lucky am I to have a kid like you? You're the best kid ever. So if your parents had one mission, and that was to raise you with high self-esteem, what might they have said to you? And if the boss you have now or in the future was highly motivated to shape you and mold you into an amazing person, what they might say, you know what? You're indispensable to this company. God, how lucky are we to have you? You know what? I've noticed that you are extraordinarily gifted. You're such a good team leader. You're such a good thinker. Oh my God, the words coming out of your mouth when you handle that client were extraordinary. And let's go even further. If your partner was highly motivated to let you know every day that you were the best thing that ever happened, then what they might say? They might say that. They might sing that Paul Weller song. You're the best thing that ever happened to me in my life, so don't ever go away. Or they might sing that Barry White song, Don't Go Changing to Try to Please Me. I love you just the way you are. And if your friends wanted to let you know how important you were, they might say, wow, every day I thank God that I met you. You're the best friend ever. There's a template for being a best friend. It would have your name all over it. So now you know all these things, all these words you'd love to hear, should have heard, could have heard, would like to hear. And your cheerleaders taking them all in. They've got a fantastic memory. They know what to do. So now I want you to imagine you're literally coding this cheerleader into your brain. So you've got an app on your phone and you've wired this cheerleader into your mind. They now live in your mind. And every day when you wake up, they remind you, hey, you can do anything. You're fantastic. You're talented. You're smart. You're amazing. You've got this. So you're installing a cheerleader, and the cheerleader believes in you. They believe in you. They think you're the best thing ever, and they have a full-time job they love, which is to let you know that you're worth it. And every day they jump up and down, they do backflips, they blow the trumpet, they bang the tambourine and the cymbals, they bang the drum, and they say, you are the best, you've got it, you're great, you're amazing. So I want you to imagine a day in your life you've woken up, and the children, it's going to be a great day today. Today's a great day. Whatever you touch is going to be amazing. And maybe you are going for an interview. Maybe you're going for a promotion. Maybe you're just going to work. And the cheerleader says, wow, the words that come out of your mouth when you speak to your team or your client, you're so good. You're a freaking genius. How you handle your customers is extraordinary. You're such a quick thinker. You're so solution oriented. You are indispensable to your team. Or maybe you have your own business and say, wow, your customers love you. They love your product. You have such a gift for making every person that comes into your orbit feel special. You're a natural seller. You're a natural people person. So imagine you wake up every day and that's the first thing they say. And when you're in the shower and there's nothing else to say except, gosh, I love the smell of this soap, they particularly start. So every time you switch on the shower, that's the key for the children to go you, you're amazing, you can do anything. Every single day, you get in the shower and your cheerleader comes on. It's a bit like you switch on the shower and you switch on this radio in your head and your cheerleader begins. And I want you to think of other key times, maybe when you're waiting for the kettle to boil, the coffee to brew, the toaster to pop. Maybe when you're waiting for the bus or the Uber, or when you're driving to work yourself, that is your time to let your cheerleader come in and say all those words that you prepped them with. This has got your name all over it. You're smart. You're brilliant. You're a genius. You're an amazing coder. You're a phenomenal writer. You're an incredible team leader. You're indispensable to this company. You're brilliant at running your business. Customers love you. The most difficult clients love you. You are a natural. You know, Muhammad Ali said, I told the world I was the greatest before I was. Factually, it was not true, but I said it. I stated it. I didn't whisper, I shouted it out. And you know what? It became true. What a concept. Saying something and making it true. So take a few minutes and imagine your cheerleader is filling you up with self-belief and self-worth and self-value. They are massively raising your self-image. There's like a dial that was on 2 and they're pushing up to 10, and that dial is your self-image, your self-belief, your self-worth, your self-confidence, your self-esteem. You're right at the top now. This is not arrogance, by the way. Arrogance is, oh, I'm great and you're not. Self-belief is, I'm great and I can see your greatness too, but I am great at my gift. I have a gift and I'm great at my gift, and you can be great at your gift, and it makes the world a better place. And when you turn up that sense of self-worth, self-value, self-image, self-esteem, the whole world joins you at the higher level. When you turn it down, they join you down there. You want them to join you at that high level. So take a minute with your eyes closed, a minute, and just see this cheerleader leaping, jumping, doing somersaults, doing backflips, banging the trombone, blowing the trumpet, banging the drum, shaking the cymbals, and saying your name. You've got this, you're smart, you're gifted, you are a gift to the world. You're a gift to the world. Everything's got your name on it. You are amazing at, and that could be coding, team leading, selling, writing. You're amazing. And on a hard day, especially if you work for yourself at home and you don't have a boss to go, hey, I noticed today how good you are. On a day when you are working alone, working from home, they're always there on your shoulders saying, this is good, you're good. If you work for yourself, if you work from home, you really need someone to build your praise muscle. You have a praise muscle that will wither away if it's not used, just like every other muscle in your body. But you have a cheerleader now, and that cheerleader works on your praise muscle every day. It is growing. The more you use it, the better it is. The better it is, the more you use it. So imagine your praise muscle is growing. Your praise muscle is perfect. You can find love. You can find success. You can find health and wealth and joy. You can have it all. You can have money. You can have confidence, you can have success, you can have wealth, you can have love, you can have joy, because you know you're worth it. But even more than knowing it, you resonate it, and your cheerleader reminds you, it tells you you're worth it, you're worth it, you're worth it, you deserve it, you deserve it. You have a little mantra, a little song, a little ditty that they sing every day. You're worth it, you're worth it, you deserve it, you deserve it. Maybe they're going to sing that song, this girl is on fire. This guy is on fire. Maybe they're going to sing that song by Queen, Don't Stop Me Now. I'm having a good time. I'm having a ball. Maybe they're going to sing that song by Nina Simone. It's a new day. It's a new dawn. And I'm feeling fucking amazing. I want you to think of the little song they're singing. I am titanium. Maybe that song by Bon Jovi. It's my life. I want you to think of a little song title right now. It's my life, having the time of my life. That song from Dirty Dancing. I'm having the time of my life. I want you to make that your ringtone and imagine every time you hear that, it's on your alarm, it's on your phone, it's your ringtone. And maybe you're going to pick a little slogan like, this girl is on fire, this guy is on fire. And you're going to make that the password. You now cannot open your computer. You can't open your phone until you put in your message. You know, we're all busy visualizing and affirming and manifesting, but you never manifest what you want. You manifest what you think you are worth. You can visualize, but if you don't visualize yourself with high self-esteem, it's not enough. You can buy lots of stuff. If you don't have high self-esteem, you have nothing at all. So if you're visualizing, affirming, manifesting, make sure in there is the truth about you. You are worth it and you deserve it. So let's end this activation by shouting out as loud as you can. I'm worth it and I deserve it all. And again, I'm worth it and I deserve it all. And again, even louder, I'm worth it. I deserve it all. And again, I'm worth it. And imagine that little baby that you once were, that newborn baby who knew that they were worth it and deserved it all. And now they're so happy that you finally come back to yourself, come back to who you were. Because you see, it is no one's job to tell you that you're worth it. It's your job. People don't tell you who you are. You must tell them. And now you have a cheerleader telling you, you can tell them. This job has my name all over. I deserve this. I'm worth it. This is me. No one can do this better than me. I'm ready. Take a moment, let that all sink in, because this is not something to hear. This is something to do. This is not something for you to hear. It's something you do. I want you to open your eyes, come back into the room. Someone said, I'm not in the fire, not the wound. I'm the best me rising free. Now, I love this expression. When you don't fix your wounds, you bleed on the people that didn't even cut you. And some of us have been doing that, bleeding people that didn't cut us, because bleeding on people who didn't cut us because we didn't know how to fix our wounds. Today, we fixed our wounds. We fixed our not enoughness. We fixed the self-sabotage, the procrastination. I'm not enough. By doing the opposite. What's the opposite? I'm not enough. I'm worth it. I can have it all. I can have it all. You see, if ever you in the future have a baby, you wouldn't go, I'm having a baby. Should I have a pretty one or an intelligent one? Should I have a happy one or a smart one? Should I have a baby that's really clever or should I have one that's really cute? We say, I want my baby to have everything. They can be cute and clever and happy and have a sunny disposition. You can have it all. You can have it all the time. So let me quickly look at some of these feedbacks. Someone said, I'm a rock star. I love that song. Yeah, I'm a rock star. I've got my rock moves. My anthem from Sir Elton John, I'm Still Standing. Oh, yes, let's have some song titles. I love that. I love that Bon Jovi song. It's my life and it's now or never. I ain't going to live forever. And it's true. Take action now. I'm still standing. My cousin was actually a dancer in that. He's filmed that in Cannes. Today, I'm finding my safe, secure, and creative home. I'm a rock star. I'm still standing. I can love me better. Yeah, I love that song. Flowers by Miley Cyrus. And I used to love that song. I'm in love, I'm in love, I'm in love with a wonderful girl. Or you can say a wonderful guy. It's a very old song. My gran used to sing it, but it's a great song because it says, I'm in love with me. I'm worth it. I'm unstoppable. I'm titanium. Eye of the Tiger. I love that. So Eye of the Tiger is such a great song. I'm ready. Bring it on. Okay. I Can Love Me Better. I love that song. I Can Love Me Better. I Can Love Me Better. It's a beautiful song. And you see, all these songs came from pain. Shakespeare said, from pain comes art. No one says, hey, my life is so beautiful. Let's write a song. It's, I was dumped. I was brokenhearted. I was fired. I love Desmond Decker. You can get it if you really want. And I also love the one by the Small Faces. What is it? Not Itchy Cooper. It's All Too Beautiful. I love that song. It's all too beautiful. So you got a cheerleader and you got a song. What more could you have? You got a cheerleader who believes in you, screams your name, does flat backwards on your worst day, is there saying, I believe in you. You can do it. This is just a day. This is not your life. It's just your life today. And you got a great song to put on your phone. I'm walking on sunshine. I love that one too. So you've got everything. You've got everything, and nothing can stop you. It's like that song, Don't Stop Me Now. Nothing can stop you. I'm just going to try and turn up my brightness here. Sorry. Oh, it is quite bright. That's good. Okay. So we're going to hand over to Elise, but I want you to remember there are two types of people who come on to these talks or go to talks. One person goes, that was fun. Yeah, that was interesting. But the other one goes, no, somebody taught me something from the stage, something as simple as I require it. Something as simple as this is not hard, it's unfamiliar. And I said, you know, hey, Marissa, you told me one thing. You told me to never say it's hard to say it's unfamiliar. You told me to never say I want, but to say I require. And I did it. I went home and I took it on board. And that little thing changed my life. Little things changed my life. The smallest things change your life. So please don't just listen. Go, yeah, okay, I'm saying I require, I'm saying it's unfamiliar, I'm singing my song, and I'm coding in that. I've downloaded it, it's in here, and it's going to stay in here. And what's that other great song I love? Make My Day. Make my day, pump up the jam. I love that too. Make my day, make your own day. My Power by Beyonce. So sing your own song. Use Your Cheerleader, My Way by Frank Sinatra. It's my life. It was you. This girl is on fire. Rod Stewart has this great thing called Great American Songbook. And it's 5 albums, and it's all songs like It Had to Be You, Wonderful You. And I love that. My husband and I used to dance around the kitchen and I to that. And all the songs are so beautiful. You're the one. I made it. I choose me. I have everything. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm going to stay here and I'm going to answer more questions. So Elise is going to come on and tell you about her song, her cheerleader, how she's even helped her own son have his song, his cheerleader, and how we can all do it. Celebrate yourself. Even though I don't love that song, Celebration, because it's so overplayed, but it's a great song about celebrating yourself. I want to break free. You see, I would say I've broken free. If you have a song that says, I want to break free, I want it, just change the lyrics. Just change the lyrics. You know, there's a song called I Feel Pretty and Witty and Gay. When I had cancer, I sang, I am healing, I feel healthy and strong and well. And I sang that song every day from some musical. I feel pretty and witty and gay. And I said, I feel healthy, I feel well, and I'm healing every day. And I did because I sang a song. But sometimes you've got to change the lyrics just a bit, especially This Girl Is on Fire. This guy is on fire. This heart is on fire. This brain is on fire. This body is on fire. We get to choose. We're always going to choose greatness. So over to you, Elise, but I'm staying here. I'm staying here to listen to your questions. I'm going to stay here right to the end to answer every question you have. I'm not going anywhere. But Elise, it's your time now, darling, to come on and tell us about your greatness and your great life now that you said, I require health and wealth and joy and a happy, gorgeous son, a beautiful marriage, and you have all of them with bells on, but you didn't once. So let's hear your story.
Thank you so much, Marissa. Yeah, that's exactly it. And it's funny we were talking about songs there because I remember I was completely living in fear and anxiety for so many years. And I remember one day sitting in my car and a song came on the radio and it was Gwen Stefani and she was singing, "Take a chance, 'cause you might grow. What you waiting for? What you waiting for?" And it was like that song was being sung to me because I'd been holding myself back, sabotaging myself for so many years, stopping me getting what I wanted from life because I was purely living in fear. Because I want to tell you something that was hard for me to admit, actually, and it was hard for me to admit for many, many years because I was performing a version of myself, which actually was very little to do with the person that I actually am. Because on the outside, I had a very successful career, really busy life. It looked like I was holding it all together. Successful PR lady working in a big agency in London, doing really well. But actually, the story on the inside was a far cry from that because on the inside, I was massively anxious, exhausted, constantly striving to prove myself, and completely disconnected from myself, the world around me, and actually what I wanted. Because as a child, I felt like I was just never enough. I grew up with a father who told me that I would never amount to anything, that I was useless, that I was unattractive, that I'd never get a great job. I had this like little childhood dream. I grew up in the 80s watching American TV, and there was a show called LA Law, and it was all about these hotshot lawyers. And at age probably 6 or 7, I said, I'd like to be a lawyer. And I really distinctly remember my dad saying, "You'll never be a lawyer. You haven't got the brains to be a lawyer. You'll never achieve anything. You'll end up just stacking shelves in a supermarket. So get over it." And hearing that as a 6-year-old child, it was kind of like, oh, well, okay. I just accepted that I was never going to get there. But I grew up kind of striving to excel and to be seen. So I was like the good girl at school who went to church, went to school, got good grades, but it was never enough. It was never enough. I didn't feel like I was proving myself to those people around me. I never felt like I was working hard enough, succeeding, but I felt like to stay safe and to be happy, I had to be useful. And that's what I strove to do. I didn't question it. It was just the way that I was. And actually, I took that little girl who was just struggling to be seen, to be heard, to make something of herself, to prove her dad wrong, but at the same time, having those words in the back of your mind, you'll never get there. And I took it into my adult life. So I took that into my adult life and I spent over, gosh, 20 years working in the fast-paced world of PR and marketing agencies. And while there were some elements of that job that I loved because I loved to be creative and I was really good at it, actually, it wasn't ambition that was fueling me and working me hard. It was actually that anxiety of I need to keep up, I need to be successful, I need to prove myself, I need to be seen constantly. And that real feeling of I can't let anyone see that I'm struggling because behind the scenes I was treading water. Anxiety for me had become a huge, huge part of my life where it was catastrophe at every corner. I woke up every day feeling massively anxious. What was going to happen at work today? Was I going to be able to do the job? Was I going to be able to work the hours? And unfortunately, I worked in a horrible toxic work environment where it was encouraged. It was all about the hustle. The more hours you worked, the more, praise that you got. And I found myself, sort of going into the office at 6 a.m. and often not even going home till midnight the next day. And I did this for the space of about 4 or 5 years, all fueled with this anxiety. I have to keep up. Can't tell anybody that I'm struggling. Can't tell anybody that I'm really struggling with anxiety because I'll be a failure and I'll have proved my dad wrong. And I told no one. I basically just carried on, even though anxiety was actually destroying me inside. And I always talk about one instance where I actually realized just how bad anxiety was. And I was sitting on a train going to work one day. And the rocking of the train just sort of triggered something in me. And I thought, oh my God, this train's going to crash. And I was like, this train's going to crash and there's going to be people injured. And what if I die? And what if this happens? And I was suddenly creating this absolute catastrophe of this train crashing in my mind and planning how I was going to escape. Well, first of all, I would do this and I would go and help other people. And then I would smash the window and then I will do this. And then I would get out onto the platform. And I had this huge mapped out plan. And my stomach was churning. My body was physically shaking and my heart was absolutely racing. And I got off the train that day at the other end to go into work, and I realized just how bad I was feeling and how bad anxiety had got for me because I got off the train feeling like that train crash had actually happened when it hadn't happened at all. But in my mind, it had because I'd mapped it all out. And I realized just how bad anxiety was for me then. But because I was kind of trapped in the cycle of I just need to prove myself, I just need to push through this, I didn't tell anybody how much I was struggling until I had one particularly bad day in the office. And I remember having a meeting and be with a client who was constantly criticizing me, which just fueled this. I need to be better. I'm not good enough. All of these little words, this little voice, this little inner critic rather than my inner cheerleader sitting on my shoulder telling me that I would never amount to anything. And my dad was right. And the client turned around and said, "We just don't think this is working out. There's not the chemistry there. And so we're going to give someone else the account." And for me, for someone who had made work her entire life a way of feeling validated, good enough, this to me was like somebody punched me in the face and punched me in the heart and punched me in the stomach all at once. I just felt sick. I actually thought I was going to faint because I was in such a state of panic at this point. And immediately I was thinking, well, I'm going to get fired. And then what am I going to do? I'm going to be homeless. And then, again, the anxiety spirals, those anxiety spiraling thoughts just were massively out of control. And I remember walking along the street, and I was working in Edinburgh at the time, and walking along Prince Street in this absolutely beautiful environment, just in floods of tears and just thinking, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what life looks like without this. What am I going to do? I'd already decided I was going to get fired, that it was going to be game over. I was going to lose my house. And I realized just how much I was struggling and how bad I was because I sat on the train to go home that day and I just sobbed. And people were coming up to me and saying, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And I was just like, "Yes." As I had always done, yes, I'm fine. But then when I got home that night, I couldn't hold off anymore. And I sat with my now ex-husband and I said, "Look, things are really bad. I've not told you, but things are really, really bad. And I've got to stop this now because something within me is saying that if I don't stop now and I don't get help or I don't tell someone, I'm going to make myself chronically ill." And as Marissa says, your mind's a wonderful thing because, you tell it things and it works to make them your reality. And that's exactly what happened to me because after years of repressing my emotions, of massive anxiety, I was massively burnt out. I didn't know it at the time, but I was just massively burnt out. And I burnt out and I managed to escape that environment, which was really good. I eventually got out of it. My husband was like, "What the hell are you doing? Get out. We'll work it out. It'll be fine." But unfortunately, by that point, the chronic anxiety and the stress had kind of taken its toll on me. But after I left that job, I got pregnant. And this was something that I'd always, always wanted because we've been trying to get pregnant for years, not been happening because at this point I was about 6.5 stone. I was barely eating, barely sleeping. But I got pregnant with my son. So I was so happy. But shortly after he was born, I started to have a series of really strange kind of physical symptoms, a dimness in my eye, pins and needles in my arms, slurring of my speech. And to cut a very long story short, because it took them 2.5 years to diagnose me, I was eventually diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, which is basically when your immune system starts attacking your nervous system. And it had left me with lesions on my brain and spine, which had left me with lots of symptoms in my body, like pins and needles in my arms and legs permanently. Lots of sort of weird sensory issues, brain fog, chronic fatigue where I could barely get out of bed. And I just fell into a pit of absolute depression and anxiety for 2 years. I'm not going to lie. It was a horrible, horrible time where I just didn't know what I was going to do. And anxiety went, well, you're ill now and you're just going to get gradually worse. So, we might as well just like fear every day and wait to get worse. But luckily, I always feel like there's kind of a turning point with things, and you get these little signs from the universe. And my son actually got a space at nursery, and because I have my diagnosis, so he got a space at nursery early. And when he left, I had this horrible sense of relief, but not relief for me, relief for him, because he was able to get away from me because I just felt like I was this horrible, anxious, toxic, ill mess. And so I thought, well, at least he gets to go away and spend time with like happy people and, have fun with them and he's away from me. But it also made me realize just that I had nothing in my life anymore and that I was actually just gradually sitting around to get worse. And so I thought, made the decision that there had to be something that could help me, even if I could get rid of some of the health anxiety that I had, because at this point I was barely leaving the house because I was scared that I would have an attack while I was out. Often I would start slurring my speech when I was in the middle of a sentence, and I was worried people would think I was drunk in charge of a child. And it was just awful. So I was living very much as a recluse at that time. So I decided to look around and see if there was something that could help me, anything that could help me. And I came across Marissa. And this was because I was working in a network marketing company at the time, just to give me some, you know, a little kind of side hustle and a little focus. And they introduced me to Marissa and they said, go and binge watch everything that this lady does because she will massively help you in building your confidence and building your business. And that's exactly what I did. And oh my gosh, it was like Marissa was speaking to me through the screen because she was talking about the power of the body and the mind, how to, you know, how we all have this innate ability to be well and to heal ourselves. And the thing that struck me the most, and I always kind of say this to clients now, is this idea of like disease isn't disease, it's dis-ease in your body. And I thought, yes, my gosh, I have to do something about this. I have to, you know, do more. And so I decided to do an RTT session. And I thought, let's go in and because even if it can help me with anxiety, that would massively help me leave the house, spend more time with my son, be more relaxed. So I went and did a session around anxiety and the feeling that I had after I came out of that session, it was like this massive, massive weight had been lifted from my shoulders, this heaviness. And I just felt so much lighter. And then after the space of probably 3 or 4 weeks, I found that I was suddenly feeling more confident. I was going out again, feeling much less anxious. Anxiety had been domineering my life for over 30 years, and suddenly it was shrinking, getting smaller, barely there. And so I decided to go back and I thought, well, if it works this well for anxiety, maybe we could tackle the big one. Let's go in and see if it can help with the MS. And that's exactly what I did. And I went and did 3 sessions, probably over the space of 9 months to a year, I think it was. And the results that I got were just incredible. All the symptoms that I was feeling over time, the initial thing was that suddenly I had more energy. I suddenly didn't have so much fatigue. The brain fog was much less. And then over the space of that year, I just noticed the other symptoms just massively improving. The pins and needles became what I call a background symptom, barely even felt them. And I suddenly felt so much better. And I was like, wow, why are more people not using this? Because I'd spent probably that year, those 2 years actually, in a pit of anxiety in support groups where you were all supporting one another, but you were just saying, I'm having a bad day today. And it was like, oh, hugs, you know, love you, you know, we're sending you support. There was no one saying, actually, there's things that can help. And I actually spoke to my neurologist. I'm actually due another appointment in the next like 3 months, but I spoke to him last year and I went into his office and he said to me, not to be rude, but can I ask you a question? And he turned his screen around and he went, here's your MRI scan, lesion 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on your brain, 6, 7, 8 on your spinal cord. He went, how are you sitting here speaking really coherently to me? You know, looking really well, seeming really well, no disease progression, no new lesions. How? And I said, because I decided to be well. And that's exactly what it was. I understood why MS came into my life, and it was my body screaming at me to stop. And I ignored it for so long. I pushed past it. But then it was also a sign for me to make a change. And that's exactly what I did. So actually, RTT's completely changed my life. And so I decided that I wanted to do the same. And I revisited this dream that I had 20 years previously when I left university with a psychology degree and the dream of being some sort of counselor or therapist, but still had the words of my father saying, you can't do anything like that. And I suddenly thought, yes, I can. And that's exactly what I did. And I went on to train in RTT. And I've now been an RTT therapist for the last 5 years. And as Marissa mentioned, I've got a 12-year-old son. I'm a single mum. I run my business part-time. And I help my son with RTT as well. He had lots of problems a little while ago with OCD, was really struggling with OCD. And we decided to install a little inner cheerleader with him. And his inner cheerleader was purely created by him because he said, with this OCD, mummy, it's like my brain is telling me to do things that I don't want to do. And I said, well, do you know what you can do? You can tell your brain what to do. And you went, oh, really? What you mean like an Alexa, like you tell her what to do and she does it? I said, exactly that. And he said, so I could have a little inner cheerleader and tell my brain like an Alexa what to do. And I said, exactly that. And over the space of a few months, the OCD just completely disappeared from his life, and he's absolutely thriving now and doing really well. So RTT has changed my life, it's changed my child's life, and now I'm an RTT therapist, specialist in working with people with chronic anxiety and chronic health conditions too. And it is the best job in the entire world. I absolutely loved it. Training in RTT was such an amazing experience for me after being so reclusive for such a long time. It was amazing to join forces with like-minded people and jump on board and do the training with them and, feel like I was really part of something again because we are like a big RTT family. So it's absolutely amazing. But of course, when I first started out, I was like, I've got no idea how to run a business. Marissa had instilled these amazing skills in me to be a phenomenal therapist, and I was confident and ready to do that and to go out and help people. But I was thinking, I've never properly run a business before. How am I possibly going to do it? So when Marissa recently launched the RTT integrated program, I was so excited because it's not just the therapeutic and the coaching training, it's that business support as well. So you're not left alone to just figure it all out yourself, how to get clients, how to structure your practice and build that business from scratch. We're here to support you. So I think we're going to put some slides up and we're going to tell you a little bit more about the integrated program now. So hopefully George has got those ready to come up. And there they are, amazing. So yeah, so as I mentioned, this is amazing work. So if you fancy doing this, by the way, sign up for a call. Absolutely sign up for a call and speak to one of our amazing team because they will answer all your questions. But I'm going to tell you a little bit more about how the integrated program works. Obviously, there's amazing perks to it because it is meaning and purpose. So many of us, I think, are kind of trapped in awful corporate careers, struggling to get through the days and just kind of surviving instead of thriving. I see so many of my clients in that position. But being an RTT therapist, you wake up every day knowing that you're transforming lives and you're really making a difference. It also gives you complete freedom and flexibility because you're your own boss. You can set your own hours. You can work from anywhere in the world. So I'm able to go to my son's sports days and school plays and things like this because I can work it around him. I went to Mexico on holiday in the summer last year. I took my laptop with me because I love doing what I do. And so I was able to carry on seeing my clients. Financial success as well. You can build a thriving practice from home with your high earning potential while doing work that you genuinely love to do. I touched on this before, but completely flexible around your life. You can do it full time, part time, fit it around children, travel, or other commitments you've got in your life. And your continuous growth as well. So you're always learning, always developing. Marissa's always delivering new master classes, new techniques. So it really is amazing. And also that community, I touched on this earlier, being part of the RTT family is just amazing because you're all on this journey together. So even if you're feeling a little bit nervous to start, just know that you're all in the same boat and you're all there to support each other and cheer each other on. So let me tell you a little bit more about how the business support and the infrastructure is designed to help you succeed and what this looks like. So we're going to give you client support. So, one of the first questions people ask is like, oh, well, how am I going to get clients? But we'll support you to do that. So you'll have the opportunity to apply to join our Inner Belief platform, which is basically designed to support practitioners, get you seen and connect you with potential clients. We'll also support you with the tools and structure to help you develop your website and an online presence. We'll also teach you things like your tech infrastructure, so helping you with your booking systems, your payment process, and all of those boring things that you need to do, but maybe don't know how to do. So we're there to support you with that. We're also going to give you that marketing support, showing you how to position yourself, tell your story, find your niche, and attract your ideal clients. And we've also got a success guarantee. So our success guarantee basically means we're committed to supporting you in building your successful paying client base. So if you fully complete the program, you actively apply what you've learned in the training, but you're still facing unexpected challenges in building your client base or you're struggling a bit, we're going to continue supporting you with extra guidance, extra coaching until you gain that traction. So we're there for you to support you. So it really is truly amazing. And obviously, integrated combines RTT and RTC, rapid transformational therapy, with rapid transformational coaching. And what's amazing about that is that when I first did RTT, I found that I was doing a lot of kind of informal coaching with clients, just the nature of what it was. So the fact that Marissa has brought the two together and the business support just makes this absolutely a phenomenal offering. So if this is something that you're interested in, please just book your call today. Georgia just popped up the QR code on screen now. Our wonderful team are amazing. That's not a heavy sell, trust me. I put off my decision to book a call for probably about a year, maybe even a year and a half, because I was worried that it was going to be a hard sell and that people were going to try and sell me things and I might not want to do it. And it wasn't that at all. It was really relaxed. It was great because actually they asked me lots of questions about me and whether I was actually a good fit for RTT as well as the other way around. So it's really relaxed, no obligation, completely free. So if you are interested in training an RTT and having the best job in the entire world, scan that QR code now and book your call. So I'm going to bring Marissa back in a second because we've got lots of questions to get through. So Marissa, I'm going to bring you back and hopefully I'm just going to scroll and find some questions in the chat for you now.
I'm here.
Oh, you're here. Brilliant. Okay, great. So, Marissa, we've got lots of questions actually, and they're scrolling really fast. So I'm just going to go. I feel called to do this work, but I still have my own issues to deal with. Can I still do this? It's one of the questions.
One of the very great things about doing our training, and it is amazing, is that every week you become both a therapist and a client. So we have something called the practice register. You go online and we find people for you to practice with online and sometimes live. So once a week you are a client. And once a week, you're getting real therapy. The person may be practicing on you, but the skills we have are so outstandingly amazing that you'll be getting real results. And many people turn up and say, I've got an eating problem. I still drink at the best. I pull out my eyelashes, I pick my skin, I bite my nails, don't get on with my neighbors. And when you actually have therapy every single week, I also do group therapy a lot, upgrading the child, more installing the cheerleader, it's not me, all our amazing RTT techniques. You get a lot of group therapy with me. After finishing the course, it would be impossible not to have fixed your issues. Many years ago, a girl came on my first ever course called Bertie, and she said, I can't speak to people. I'm really bad at confrontation. And within a couple of months, she was so good. I actually got a job speaking and I couldn't do it. I said, Hey, do you want it? She went, Yes, I want it. And she actually took one of my jobs and she spoke on stage. She was incredible. And a lot of our therapists have got their own podcasts. Some of them have written books. They're doing things they just couldn't imagine. Somebody wrote to me and said, I cannot tell you my life. My life is, I just couldn't have imagined this life. So I promise you, turn up with your issues and you'll leave without them. I mean, nobody says, hey, I want a therapist. I want a perfect one with a perfect life, a perfect body, a perfect marriage. Because they go, well, I can't relate to them. I want someone who said, I had depression. I couldn't conceive. My first marriage didn't work out. I had an eating issue and here I am. So people rather like that. I was told I could never have children. I've had cancer twice. I got run over. I got married at 50. I did everything the wrong way around. I raised a child alone, then got married and got a lot of my success later in life. But I quite like it. I did it the wrong way around because it's a bit like saying I'm making a recipe. I put the ingredients in the wrong way around, but the thing still turned out pretty good. So I promise you, if you come on our course, you will get a lot of amazing therapy. And just like Elise said, she is a work in progress. She's fixing other people, but she's also fixed herself. And she credits that fixing to RTT. If it could fix her, it could fix you. And indeed it will. I used to be the most insecure, self-conscious person you could ever imagine. And now I look back and I know that was me. I remember it, but it's almost like it was another person. It's so hard to imagine how insecure and self-conscious I was because that hasn't been me for such a long time.
And I think that's exactly it, Marissa, isn't it? It's sometimes I always say this that your struggles are actually your superpower as a therapist because you're
Hmm.
so relatable. And I love that you call it being flawsome, don't you? Which I
Yeah.
love.
Yeah. And also, if you can say, a lot of people said, one of our girls, Andrea, couldn't conceive. And her niche is now infertility. One of our girls couldn't speak in public, and her niche is helping people speak in public. So often, because my thing, I had an eating disorder, I had a drinking problem. I was gay and felt I was worthless because my father said, I never want to see you again. But now I've gone into the business of working with gay men or bullied children or people are insecure. And I've used my own experience to say, look, if I can do it, anyone can do it.
Thank you, Marissa. Someone is asking, what exactly is RTT integrated? How is it different from regular training courses? Because there are a lot of kind of coaching programs and things like that
Sure.
out there, aren't there, Marissa? So how is RTT
So
integrated different?
RTT integrated is three things. You train as a rapid transformational therapist, and a therapist is dealing with what I call the past, dealing with unfinished business. And then you do RTC, which is rapid transformational coaching, which is pretty much dealing with the present, which therapy doesn't always deal with. So let's imagine you have someone who self-sabotages and can't find the career or the relationship of their dreams. And the RTT fixes that, but the RTC helps them go out and be a speaker, build a business, find the love of their life. And then we finally have a clinical hypnotherapy, which is something new we've added in so you can deal with even more complex cases. So RTT integrated is the therapy, the coaching, the clinical. We also teach you marketing. We help build your website. We find you your clients on inner belief. So it's a whole package where you become a phenomenal therapist. And we do all the stuff that therapists don't want to do. Therapists, on the whole, really just want to work with clients. They don't want to do marketing. They don't want to do search engine optimization. They don't want to build a website. They don't want to design their elevator pitch. So we behind the scenes do that stuff for you and indeed with you so that you can just focus on being a phenomenal therapist, having a career that gives you meaning, purpose, and impact.
Thanks, Marissa. Someone has asked, how can RTT help with past traumas?
Well, trauma is in the past. It's never what happened, it's the meaning you attach to it. I just did an amazing session with Gabor Mate and Bethel Vanderkok, and they were talking about trauma. And I said, we've got two experts talking about it. I'm just going to come on here and do this upgrading the child and show you how to get trauma out of your body. Two people can see the same thing, a fire, an accident. Two people can cope with bereavement very differently because it's how your brain is a meaning-making machine. One of the things about the brain is it's looking for proof. I'm looking for proof that I can't do, but I'm looking for proof that I can. And so we have this belief that trauma lives in the body and trauma is there. And we have all these trigger warnings now because we're telling people you're so fragile. You're so easily broken. Let me put a trigger warning on an advert for something. And actually, none of that is true. You are not fragile. You are resilient beyond belief. You're not broken. You may have some broken beliefs. Somebody wrote to me and said, I read your book and I cried all the way through it because there was a piece you were talking to an alcoholic called Brian, and you were saying, Brian, you're not broken, but your beliefs are broken. You're not even damaged, but your parenting was damaged. But you can bounce back from all of this. And he said, it was so amazing. I felt like history is one of these, and I stopped drinking just from reading that case. I don't know what you did, but in reading what you wrote, it made such an impression on me. I'm strong, I'm brave, I can do this. And I changed my internal dialogue because the way we feel about everything comes down to the pictures we make in our head and the words we say to ourselves, which we are free to change. And I loved that you changed the words, changed the pictures. And one of the reasons I wrote this book, Rules of Your Mind, is so that you can understand the brain has rules. What you focus on, you move towards. The pictures you make, the words you construct, create your reality. If you don't like your reality, go back and look at your words because they shape it. Your brain doesn't just hear what you say, it actively works to make it real. So your thoughts become a blueprint. But you can change the blueprint and it can change your entire life.
Thanks, Marissa. So if this is resonating with you guys, book that call, scan the QR code. I think the link is also in the chat as well. Don't be afraid. And remember, we've got our success guarantee as well, which means we're committed to supporting you all along the way to make sure that you build that successful paying client base. So we are there to support you. there to help you, there to make you successful, to be the phenomenal therapist with the phenomenal practice. So book that call now. And when you do, actually, pop in the chat and I will give you a shout out as well. Myself and Marissa will shout you out. So I've just seen that Sharon, she's booked her call, so giving you a big shout out. So yeah, pop it in the chat when you've booked your call because I know myself and Marissa would love to shout you out. So on to a few more questions because there's lots. As yeah, we're fighting the scroll today, aren't we, Marissa? But
Yeah.
I'm worried the discovery call is just going to be a sales call, but what actually happens on it? And is there any pressure to sign up? I kind of touched on that earlier, didn't I, Marissa? But anything else that you want to add?
No, there isn't any pressure. And even if there was, we do ask our sales team, do not pressure, but you have a full 14-day money back guarantee legally, even if we were not nice people, legally, with online selling, you have to have a 14-day money back guarantee. So let's imagine the worst thing happened. You went on the call, you thought, oh, this person's so nice. I feel obliged to sign up. You just have to write in and go, don't want it. And we give you a no questions asked money back guarantee because we're legally obliged to. But if we weren't, we would still do that. So you're completely covered, you're safe. But often people say, I want to think about it now. This is really interesting, but it's a big thing. I want to think about this life. Could I be an amazing therapist? Could I have a life of meaning? Purpose, impact. Could I make a difference? Studies show that people who are in acts of service, that could be a vicar, a carer, a social worker, a therapist, are happier than people who earn 3 times their salary. So what we do is say, look, you can have an act of service, but also earn a really nice living. We don't want you to be scrabbling for clients saying, look, I love this job, but it doesn't pay. And so I'm super stressed because I got a great career that doesn't pay the bills. We want you to have both. We want you to have a vocation that's fulfilling, and we want you to have financial freedom. We want you to say, wow, I work from home. As a single parent, for me, being a therapist was a gift from heaven because I worked from 10 to 3. I woke up, took my little girl to school, came home, saw my clients, picked her up if she was ever sick. I could cancel my clients. And I remember that one day I got a call from the school saying she's fallen off a climbing frame. She's having stitches. I canceled all my clients, went straight to the hospital. She was fine. But there are very few careers for women and men where you can fit it around your family, work your own hours, work from anywhere in the world. Like Elise said, work on holiday should you want to, and put your children and your family first, but also earn a very nice living. So we love that. It's amazing.
So shouts outs to Sonia, Brenda, Caroline, Jilly. I know that you said you were going to book your call as well. You might as well book it now while you're here with me and Marissa. So scan that QR code. And Ellen, you've got your call on Saturday. I noticed that too. Diane is asking, I am 69. Am I too old to train?
No, not at all. That's one of the rare things again for women and men too, is there are very few careers when your age is an advantage. No one's going to go to a therapist of 22. You're seen as wise and having some experience. It's one of those rare careers where the older you get, the more wisdom you have. And of course, the other lovely thing about being 69 is you can work for 3 hours a day. You can see 4 clients a week. I worked with this wonderful man from Holland who came on my course and said, I'm retired. I'm so bored. My life has no meaning. I wake up and think, well, that's an hour of the day gone. What else can I do? And he became a therapist and he said, I love it. But what was so lovely is he married another therapist that was on our course. They've got their own practice together. They're in their 70s now. And they have their niece, which is really people who are unfulfilled in their career. And I love that. So many people who've retired come back and do this because you can work from home. You can sit at your kitchen table with your screen and see clients all over the world. And you can see as many or as few clients as you wish. And no one says, gosh, you're a bit old, aren't you? They go, you're wise. I love the fact that you're a sage. So if we look at some of the amazing people, Wayne Dyer, Louise Hay, Kate Byrne, Katie, Brené Brown, they're all older. Mel Robbins too. And we like their wisdom. They didn't really have it together at 25. Mel Robbins will say, I was a lawyer, I went bankrupt, my show was cancelled. But Wayne Dyer, Tony Robbins will all say, as I got older, I had this wisdom, this confidence. I also had this drive to help people, to make a difference. So I think it's the best career in the world for someone who's saging because you never want to retire. I've been doing this for 40 years and I have no desire to ever retire because although I give a lot, I get so much back. It's a real giving. People say, gosh, you give so much. I go, yeah, but look at what I get back. And I feel like I've never worked a day in my life because when you love what you do and you do what you love, although you will work hard, it actually feels like you've never worked a day in your life, which is why I probably love it as much now as I did on day one. And it's very rare to have a career of 40 years because I love it as much now. And it gives me so much.
Quite a few people have asked about pricing, but what I would advise is that you book your call because there's lots of different payment plans and options there, and they will take you through absolutely everything and will answer all of your questions. And like I say, it's not a hard sell. It's just for to answer all the questions that you've got about the training program, to discuss the payment plans. So feel free to just scan that QR code, book that call in, and see whether this is the right fit for you, whether it's the right fit for our TT, because you won't regret it. I promise you. Don't be a dummy like I was and put it off for a year because I
No.
could have been a therapist for 6 years instead of 5. And that's my only regret about the training. So jump on board, scan the QR code. Like I say, they will tell you everything. They will answer all of your burning questions. They will take you through all the options and the payment plans. So yes, book that call right now.
So Maria said, but Marissa, you're exceptional. And that's actually not true. You see, RTT is not what I do, it's what I teach you to do. RTT is the summary of my life's work. Clients will say to me, oh my God, that thing you said, that thing you did changed my life. I've been in therapy for 40 years and you fixed me in one session. And I would collect all my clients' feedback and collate it. What was it I did? What was it I said? And when I collated it, I began to teach it. And I promise you, I have people I've trained who are every bit as good as me. Some are better. I've been doing it for 40 years. They are full of enthusiasm and passion and energy. And of course, I have experience now. Experience is a great thing. But you know what I had in the beginning? I didn't have experience. I had passion. I was on fire with doing this. And the on fireness, the joy, the thrillingness of, wow, I can help change this person's life was every bit as good as the experience. So in the beginning, you have this enthusiasm, this drive, this fire in the belly. Later, you have experience, but I wouldn't say experience is better than that. They're very different. But I can tell you, hand on heart, I have many therapists who are every bit as good as me, and some who are better. And that should be the case. It shouldn't be that, oh, you can be nearly as good as me, but never as good. Some of the people I train will be better. Some of the people I've yet to train will be better. And I could list now at least 30 people off the top of my head. I mean, people come to me and say, could you recommend someone? In fact, on Sunday, I was around the pool where I live in Dubai, and this guy came up and said, thank you so much for referring me to that girl, Samira. She worked with all of my kids, Emmy, and she's changed my life. Someone else said, thank you for referring me to this girl called Lutz. Thank you for the referring to Helen. I got a review on my book this week that said, started off a doubter, became a believer. And it said, I read this book full of doubt. I have Asperger's. You have given me weapons of mass transformation. And I heard about it through Elise, and Elise Clayton changed my life. And so I love that. He wasn't saying I changed his life. And so and I have another friend who said, gosh, my mother saw this guy called Dorian Studley. Oh my God, my mother didn't leave the house. She was housebound, she was wheelchair bound, and now she's out, she's active, all thanks to Dorian. So please don't think it's me. It is my technique. If Jamie Oliver said, hey, take a chicken, take some coconut milk, take some coriander, and follow it, you're going to make something almost as good as me. But I thought to me, you're the Jamie Oliver of therapy. You have a recipe that I follow, and I get the results you get. And people say, wow, I get the results you get. Of course you could, and you should, because it's a recipe. It's not rigid, but it's a formula that we show you what to do. You do this, 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 and this. And guess what? You get phenomenal results. I'm not sure I'm exceptional, but I am sure that my training model is exceptional. I think RTT is the best therapy in the whole world. In fact, someone said to me, I was in hospital in Abu Dhabi, and the doctor said, I can't help you. Have you heard of that Marissa Peer? Track her down. She can help you. And I love the fact that hospitals, doctors, nurses, psychiatrists are now saying, you need to find that Marissa Peer or someone that she trained, because this method has changed people really quickly, powerfully, and permanently. Isn't that a wonderful thing?
Amazing.
If you go to my, I have a talk on YouTube called I'm Enough from 2015, and someone said, I'm a psychiatrist. I have learned more in 20 minutes listening to the talk than I learned in all my training. I thought, wow, that's amazing. But I've had many doctors come on my course. I was training at, what's the place in Kensington, Elise, the hospital, the medical place that we
Oh,
teach.
yeah, that we feature him.
Anyway, so and I've had many doctors sit in my courses and go, well, this is amazing. We hear about this stuff, but we never see it. And it's amazing that we teach at this particular teaching hospital. We've taught at the New York School of Medicine. Doctors go and go, wow, this is amazing, because doctors will tell you the truth. 80% of people turning up at ER, Joe Dispenza says 90, I say 80. 80% of people turning up at the hospital or the doctors have real illnesses, real headaches, real stomach aches, real breakouts, real skin problems, but they are not caused by diseased organs. They're caused by diseased thinking. Imperial College Medical School, that's where in Kensington we taught a lot. So it's really amazing that the medical world is saying, so many people have illnesses caused by disease thinking. And we should say, well, that's actually fantastic news. A diseased thought can be changed like that. A diseased organ needs antibiotics, maybe even a transplant. But disease thinking, we can change that really, really quickly.
Big shout out to Lucy, Alexandra, Steve, Mark, Mike, who I just saw quickly scroll through the chat there, who've all booked their calls. So well done, guys. And like I say, QR code in the corner behind me. Scan that QR code, book your call today. Speak to our amazing team. Like I say, they will answer all of your questions. We're trying to power through a lot of them today, but there's so many. So please just, if you've got a specific question that you want to ask, call our team, book that call now. You won't regret it, trust me. And then this time next year, you could be also doing the best job in the whole wide world, just the way that me and Marissa are. So amazing. So I'm going to go back to a few more questions because I think we've got Marissa for maybe 5 more minutes. Marissa, you must be
Yeah,
very
5 more
tired
minutes.
after all the travel. So,
A
um,
little, a little tired. I could do with a little rest, but it's okay.
Marissa, someone I saw in the chat, I've lost the question now, but it was saying that she'd watched you do the Stephen Bartlett
Oh,
interview and where
yes.
you hypnotized him to get over his sugar craving, because she said she did it along with him
Mhm.
and it's now helped her with her sugar cravings. But for people who haven't seen that, tell us a little bit more about it.
So Stephen Bartlett, I'd been on his show. He credits a lot my book, You're Enough, with changing his life. Right in the beginning of his first book, Happy Sexy Millionaire, he talks about coming across my work and finding it so profound. And I notice how much he talks about I'm enoughness now in that first book. So I'd been on his show. And I noticed he was on a show with Joe Dispenza, and he was saying, I can't stop eating sugar. And Joe just said, oh, well, that's your ego. And I thought, gosh, Joe really missed a trick there. So I said, hey, Stephen, why don't I come on the show and I will fix this? I had the confidence. So I went on the show and we talked about sugar. You see, what a lot of doctors miss is that sometimes we have something like I had a girl with OCD who'd had it for 30 years. And she couldn't get rid of it because the OCD had a role. As long as every cushion was just so and every fork was just so, she felt in control. And if you fixed the OCD, she wouldn't feel in control anymore. So with Stephen, we went back to have a look at some interesting scenes. A little kid who had no money, was pretty poor, and all his friends had money. And so when he went to school, they all had chocolate bars and packets of crisps, and he didn't, and he felt less than. So he began to steal. He's very steal chocolate, and then he felt equal. So he'd go to school, and if he had the same lunch, if he had chocolate bars in his lunchbox and crisps, he'd think, I'm the same as you. So what happened is the brain picked up, I believe chocolate makes me feel equal. So 30 years later, he decided not to eat it, staying in lots of hotels with a minibar full of chocolate, and he couldn't resist it because the brain said, oh, when you stop having it, you feel like that deprived kid again, because the brain goes back to work out what something means. You see, if I hear Barry White, I'm with my first ever boyfriend, also called Barry. If I smell Chanel #5, I'm with my mum. If I eat apple pie, I'm in my grandmother's kitchen. So taste, sound, smells, the brain goes back. So his brain went back and said, chocolate means you're as equal to all the other kids, and no chocolate means you're deprived. So that's why he couldn't resist it, because it made him feel deprived. And the minute we got that, you see what RTT does very cleverly. Find the pattern, understand the pattern, change the pattern. Within 5 minutes, we found the pattern. Chocolate makes me feel I'm as good as you. And now we're going to understand why, and said, yeah, well, that makes perfect sense. But now we're going to say, but you don't need it. You're a billionaire, millionaire. You don't need chocolate ever again. And to this day, he doesn't care about chocolate. 1.7 million people have watched that video. And they said, hey, I closed my eyes. It fixed my chocolate thing too. It fixed my need to drink fizzy drinks. When I was a kid, my sister and I were never allowed fizzy drinks. And when I became older, I was obsessed with it because I could never have it. And when I got it, it's like, oh, I've got what other people have. We need to be the same. We need to be connected. And we often connect through food. And so going back and finding that connection, find the pattern, understand it, change it. And it was a great session. And people still watch it to this day because people say, I wish I could give up sugar. It's got such a hold on me. It calls my name. Of course you can. And you can do it easily. You can do it forever. You just need. So watch that session. I think there's a link, maybe we can put it up, that will take you to how I dissect that session and explain to you what I did and how you can do it too.
And of course, Marissa, you've got your new podcast as well, haven't you? Of the
Yeah.
same name as your book. Someone asked what the book's called, Your Mind, Your Rules.
So
And
this is the
Marissa's,
book, Your Mind, Your Rules. And it's really about the fact that the mind has certain rules. Here's one, the brain wants what is familiar, not unfamiliar. The brain doesn't like conflicting beliefs. The brain only works in the present moment. And so it's very simple, but it explains certain rules and how you can make them work. And then we have a podcast also called Your Mind, Your Rules with some amazing guests. We had Davina McCall talking about how she was an abandoned child and became a heroin addict. We have Julia Bradbury talking about how she completely fixed cancer by creating these hacks. We've had Caroline and Sergio talking about their 19-year-old age gap marriage and why it works. Mona Catton talking about how she formed Huda Beauty with $600 and became a billionaire. But each of the guests comes on and they talk about their rules for love or success. Daniel Priestley came and talked about the rules for being an entrepreneur. Tim Gray is coming on this weekend to talk about being a phenomenal biohacker and how he cured his own autoimmune illness. So I'd love you to watch it. Your Mind, Your Rules podcast. But someone just said on here that they've got this book and it's changed. So please buy it. Not for me, but for you, because it's a very simple book. It teaches you that everything is a story you've told yourself. And if you can just change the story, you can change your life. And Jacqueline said, Mel Robbins is the tablet. Marissa's method is the surgery. I put my book into Claude and said, compare my book to Mel Robbins and be totally honest. And it said, Mel is the pill, but you're the surgeon. And I love that. I mean, I like Mel. I think what she's done is very good, but I love the fact that she's a pill and I'm the surgeon. I thought that was very, very exciting. So please buy it. And please, 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 if you want to do one thing to make my day, my week, my month, please review it. I love that review that says started a doubter, ended up a believer, and within a week, my ADHD and Asperger's have gone down so much because I have weapons of mass distraction with my brain, and everything is a game changer. So I'd love you to buy it. Please review it. It would mean so much. I really put my heart and soul into this book. I wanted to help you. So you can change like that. We'll say, how long does it take to change? A month, 6 months? You can change in 21 minutes, not 21 days, 21 seconds, if you know how. So thank you so much.
So
Thank
just
you,
a
thank
couple
you,
more
thank you.
questions. Just a
Yes,
couple
go
more
on.
questions before you leave, Marissa, because this one's come up quite a few times. It's how long before I can begin helping paying clients?
I think it's about 4 months. It depends. If you're a lot of people said I'm an existing therapist, do I have to do the course? Yes, you do. But you can start seeing clients straight away because you are an existing therapist. So you're training first in RTT, and within about 4 months, you can begin to see paying clients. We help you get insurance, that's very important. And you can help. You can start to see clients, and you'll probably charge around $250 a session initially.
Amazing. So yes, book your call, guys, because come and meet our team. They're really super friendly team. They're there waiting to talk to you. They'd love to help you to speak to maybe about the challenges that you're going through at the moment, where you are now, where you want to be. It really is. They're actually such a lovely team. They really are. They'll wrap their arms around you, answer all the questions that you need to have, run through everything with you. They're such a friendly team. So just book that call today.
Kessia said, she has a Kessia, please buy my other book, Tell Yourself a Better Lie, because the first case history is someone who had OCD for 30 years and just was so upset. And in an hour, she's never had it since. So you'll find it really interesting. That book explains what I did with her, why I did it, how I did it. This is the book I really want you to buy. But in your case, I want you to buy Tell Yourself a Better Lie. But of course, this book also explains the rules for OCD. If your body believes it gives you something, then it doesn't necessarily want to give it up. And in my interview with Davina McCall, she talks about how upgrading the child changed her life. And the whole technique is in here and it talks you through it. And all of my books have QR codes where you can download certain audios for money blocks, love blocks, health blocks, and so on and so on. But if you're watching my podcast, please, 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 please review it. That would mean everything. And please review this book. It would be amazing. Is Rob coming on to talk to us?
He is. He is. I was just going to say, I know that
Poor Rob is waiting in the background, and I'm so excited to hear what he
You're
has to
probably
say.
super tired now, so we're going to let you go and we're going to bring on Rob, one of our amazing graduates, to talk a little bit more about his experience with RTT and life as an RTT therapist as well, because like I say, we are one big happy RTT family. But any final words from you, Marissa, before you
Well,
go?
I'm just going to pick up the love of my life, my little grandson Ziggy from school. Now, I was told I would never have children. I was told you will never conceive a baby. You can't conceive and you can't carry a baby to full term. And I look at my daughter and my lovely grandson and the new one that's just about to pop out and think, gosh, they wouldn't be here if I let that in. And that's another rule of your mind. You are defined by what you let in and don't let in. When I sat in that doctor's office, he said, you will never have children. He said, by the way, I've got three. It's not what you think. You can have a wonderful life without children. I remember this voice saying, don't let that in, don't let that in. When I was told 3 years ago, you will not walk for 6 months, you're going to have a limp, you'll never wear heels again. I was actually on stage last week wearing these very high Alaya heels because what you let in will define you. And you can choose what to let in and not. And if I'd let that in, I wouldn't have my daughter and she wouldn't have her beautiful boys. So I always look at her and look at him and think, well, thank God I didn't let that in. So that's another thing that will change your life. You get to decide what to let in and not. But Rob is going to tell you very what he let in and didn't, and about his amazing life. And I'm going to go and get Ziggy, the love of my life. And thank you. Well, thank you, Rob. Thank you, Elise. I'd love to stay. I will watch this later, but the moderator, please send me the whole list of all these songs. One of my books, and on ID, we have a playlist. But some of these songs, like Make It Happen by Mariah Carey, and I love the one What You're Waiting For. I love that song. We're going to add them. Even I Believe in Angels by ABBA, something good for everyone. So please collate this playlist. There's some new songs on it. I want to add it to our RTT playlist. Thank you. Love you. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Elise. Thank you, my team. Thank you for coming on. And we'd love you to be one of us. The best job in the world. It gives you as much as you give. You know, people don't fear dying, they fear living a life without having made a difference, without impact, without meaning. In RDT, you have meaning, purpose, impact. You have certainty, diversity, connection, significance. You grow and you contribute and you make a difference. And that is everything. Use your cheerleader, use your playlist, become the very best version of you, live your best life. I love you. I believe in you. You're enough. You can have it all. You can even have it all the time. And we're going to show you how. Thank you so much. See
Thank you
you
so
next
much,
time.
Marissa. Amazing
Bye.
as always. Thank you. She always does an amazing job. I mean, every time we do these little experiences, I'm always kind of blown away because I always do a lot. I do them along. I'm like there shutting my eyes, installing my inner cheerleader because they're just amazing. So I hope you enjoyed that today. But as Marissa mentioned, I'm just going to invite the amazing Rob Brooke to join me tonight, just so that I can ask him a few questions about RTT. He's going to tell you a little bit more about life before RTT, how RTT transformed his life, and now how he is a therapist, living his best life, living his purpose, and enjoying every moment of it. So I'm going to invite the wonderful Rob Brooke to join me now. I think he's waiting in the wings behind the scenes. So hopefully we can bring him up on the screen with me.
Hello.
Yay, I'm so relieved that you're here.
Nina, what a lovely introduction. Thank you so much. I'm nearly blushing here.
No, it's so lovely to have you here, Rob. It really is. Rob and I have been conversing via email for quite some time over the years. And we actually only met the other day, and I was like, yes, I'm so excited to get you on the webinar because you've just got an amazing backstory, Rob, and a real tale of transformation. So I'd love you to tell me a little bit more about that actually, and a little bit maybe about life before RTT. So tell me a bit about that.
Yeah, just first off as well, how amazing was Marissa? Because I
Oh, I
was
know.
doing my inner cheerleader. It's something I do all the time
Mhm.
because it's a continuous process. Always installing the cheerleader is
Exactly.
amazing because it just builds the self-esteem. Um, Raspberry Transformational Therapy, RTT, is probably one of my favorite subjects, along with transformation. I spent 25 years not feeling safe in my mind, not feeling safe in my body. And I grew up, I was always very sensitive as a child, and I'm gay. So I believe I knew I was gay from a very young age and felt different. So sensitivity for me made the world feel like a very dangerous and scary place. I'd rather play with my sister's dolls and dress up in her bridesmaid dresses than I would be outside playing football with other boys. So I just was always felt very different and I felt it hard to connect. So that led to being sensitive and feeling nervous in the world. So as I got older, that grew into I got bullied, really badly bullied, beaten up, spat on, called names, more frightening experiences in my life. That led to my teenage years where I suffered from abuse from older men. I got abused. And from that, I turned to alcohol and I turned to drugs. I started smoking about the age of 12. I took my first drink, 12, 13 years old. But what that did, it felt this release in my body from the alcohol. Suddenly I felt a bit of confidence. Suddenly I felt like I could be myself a bit and I could express myself. But what happened with the alcohol and what happened with the drugs is that it led to self-destruction. It led to self-sabotage. It spiraled out of control. So that led to, 10, 12, 15 years of the drinking and drugs, which led to multiple overdoses, I took 13 paracetamol overdoses. I had seizures. I was in and out of hospitals. I tried different treatments and nothing actually worked or stuck. So I was just lost. I was lost in this world, lost in my mind. I didn't feel safe in my mind. I didn't feel safe in my body. I was so frightened and fearful of this world, living in fear, and you're living in turmoil in your mind. And Marissa mentioned at the start about looping thoughts. My looping thoughts started from when I woke up in the morning, the grey heaviness was just there. Hiding in bed felt safe. Nowhere felt safe for me. And I just sabotaged everything. I sabotaged my job. I think I lived in about 48 different places around the UK, just moving on, constantly restarting, restarting, restarting. I was the king of self-sabotage, and it just destroyed me. It destroyed my life. It destroyed my soul. It was destroying me. Amazingly, out of all that, I started training in the gym and became a bodybuilder. But actually, what that was doing was building an armor. It was building an armor, physical armor, But that led to body dysmorphia. That led to more drugs. That led to steroids. That led to another layer of self-sabotage and destruction within myself, not building confidence, actually losing more confidence and being more disconnected from the world. So I found love and I found my partner Matt 8 years ago. And love gave me connection. Love gave me some form of peace. But we were both wrapped up in drugs. We were spending thousands of pounds a month on drugs and drink and living in chaos. Matt was successful on the outside. I had a level of success on the outside, but internal was just chaos. And there was no freedom. So we got a dog, and this is about, I think this is in 20, what month of the year we're in now, 26. So it's about 3 years ago, 3 years ago, around 3 years ago now, actually. We got our dog, and I was walking Macy in the park, and I just heard Marissa Peer on YouTube talk about thoughts create feelings. Feelings then determine the action you take, and that action is then going to determine the result, which confirms those feelings again. And it was like, boom. I understood this. Like I've got no formal education. I didn't get a GCSE. I left school at 15, basically. I've not got any degrees or anything, but for the first time in my life, I was like, I understand this. Hold on, I get this. So every thought I think creates a feeling inside my body, which I then take action from. So I can change my thoughts. And I was like, wow, I need to know more. And give me more, give me more. Listen to Marissa on YouTube. Started doing her meditations, her self-hypnosis, just wanted to immerse myself in what Marissa was saying. And it was like a light at the end of this tunnel that I'd been traveling down for years, from all my adult life in chaos. I knew I was a good person. I knew I had a huge loving heart, but I just couldn't figure out how to operate in this world. So yeah, so I was walking Macy and I heard Marissa, and so I booked. I was like, I need to do, and this is it. This is an opportunity. This is a chance. This is a chance for me to change my life, you know. And I'd never felt that opportunity before. I'd been in and out of hospitals, but nothing ever stuck. So this was like, wow, that light bulb moment that Marissa talks about. But that was for me in that moment. So I booked an RTT session, and that I went, I'm going to go all in on this. This is my chance to change. You know, I will listen to Marissa. I want to absorb it. I want to feel it. And it was like holding a lottery ticket that I was like, I knew this was going to change everything. So I went in all in on this session, and I felt not only a physical release, a mental release. It was like these connections were made in my mind, and finally I could see clearly. Finally, I could see myself clearly. I could see the world clearly. I could see everything clearly. I came out of that session a changed person, and that was it. That was no stopping me now. You know, if I could feel that, you know, the world around me had completely changed, and I had changed. I changed who I believed I was. So just from that one session, my life was changing. Matt's life was changing. He booked a session. My mom's life was changing. She booked a session. My poor mom, all that suffering for so many years that she stood by me. She booked a session. My best friend booked a session. This ripple effect, this energy that goes out, this ripple effect changed everything. And I booked the session. I went on the live training with Marissa, which is, you know, so valuable. The support, the love. It was like the first time in my life I was surrounded by people I didn't want to run away from. I didn't hide in the toilets. Every job I've hidden. My first day of school, I hid in the toilets, crying my eyes out. Every job I've hidden in the toilets. RTT, the first time I felt at home, you know, I felt at peace. What RTT did, it gave me freedom in my mind. And once you create freedom in your mind, and once you feel safe in your mind and you feel safe in your body, well, you just see everything clearer. Your world becomes clearer. You then reprogram your mind in the beliefs that are true, because there's a story you're telling yourself, and underneath that story is the truth that I am enough, I am lovable, I am connection, I am amazing, I'm strong, I'm powerful. All those I ams are underneath that story, and that's what RTT gave me. And now I'm sat here in front of these amazing humans all around the world, excited, not running out the door, not wanting to go buy some alcohol, just peaceful. I'm sat here in peace, and I feel safe. And I tell you, that it is the most powerful transformation. It's the most powerful feeling. And anyone who's listening to this that can align or connect with that, there is freedom on the other side and there is purpose. So I was just thinking then when Marissa was saying about like the three things that RTT gives you, it's given me freedom. It's given me freedom in my mind, freedom in my life. It's given me peace, peace in my life and peace in my mind. And it's now giving me purpose to serve the LGBTQ plus community and beyond. So there, yeah.
Amazing. When I first read your story, this really struck me because I completely resonated with it as well. Because you said that the first thing you noticed after you did the RTT session was silence after years of kind of those looping thoughts and that little inner critic and that voice telling you that you weren't good enough. What did that moment feel like?
Wow. Wow. Like a rebirth. That was like the rebirth moment, the silence. Oh yeah, the silence was beautiful. It was like I've been haunted by my own. You see, I've always lived in my imagination and I've always been a very reflective person, as sensitive people often are. And we're over analyzing. So that peace and quiet that I first noticed was like, this is strange, but this is beautiful. It's like, when you wake up in the morning, I'm sure there's many people who are on this call maybe do, and you've got that sudden feeling of dread that just, that you just feel like takes over your whole body. Crippling dread. Some days I wouldn't get out of bed for days. And that silence, that peace, that like, where's that gone? Where's the voice gone? And then allowing myself to go, wow, this is what it feels like to be free in my mind and not torturing myself. I tortured myself for years. For most of my life, I've tortured myself. So to not torture yourself is just a profound shift.
So if you're looking for transformation and you're looking to transform yourself and transform others, just book your call now. Speak to our amazing team. They're on standby now. There's lots of slots open. So book that call because trust me, me and Rob are doing the best job in the whole wide world. We've both had personal transformations through RTT, and now we have the best job in the world, which is transforming others. And Rob, did you mention to me that your partner's now training in RTT as well?
Absolutely. So literally tomorrow, he's doing his final exam. He's doing his
Yay.
practical. He's done all his assessments. He went to the lives in September last year. I was at Rushden Lives in 24. He did the lives. I was down with him last year. I managed to come in on the last day and see everybody. It was like being back home again. It was
Oh,
lovely.
great.
And yeah, he qualifies tomorrow. So we're going to be like a gay RTT dynamic duo of power to
Love
heal.
it.
And I think one of the key things is as well that I want to speak about to everybody is releasing shame and guilt from your mind and from your body. It's something we all carry. I mean, in the in the gay world and the LGBTQ plus community, it's something that we kind of carry a lot of, but so does everybody. We've all carried some form of shame and guilt. Once you can release that out of your mind, oh, that is powerful because it's beautiful. And it's all about freeing your mind. It's all about freedom. We should be living in freedom. We shouldn't be trapped in our minds. And then you can choose who you are. Who am I? I'm an amazing person. What do I want from life? What do I want to be? And RTT gives you that freedom because it gives you freedom with work. And like Marissa said, you can build a beautiful life and wealth and abundance from it. You can take it wherever you want to take it. There's so many opportunities.
Absolutely. And as well, I think there's a few people who've been saying in the chat, I know you've got other businesses, Rob, but there's a few people in the chat that have been like, oh, I've never set up a business before. I don't know what to do. But don't forget that Marissa has this amazing success guarantee, which is basically going to help you and support you in building that paying client base. So I think a lot of people, when they first graduate, are like so excited, but they're like, but how will I find clients? So we're going to support you through that process. So if you're fully doing the program, you're doing the things we tell you to do, you're actively applying the training, and you still find that you're kind of like, I still feel a little bit stuck with getting clients, we're going to carry on supporting you afterwards. We're going to support you, give you guidance and coaching so that we get you those clients. So we're there to support you all of the way. So you're never on your own. And Rob, tell me about that actually, because tell me about what you're doing now and life as a therapist. What does that look like for you?
Well, it looks amazing, but just could quickly add to that, Elise, is one thing I did, and it's just come to me then, was throughout the whole course, I told myself, I absorb this information effortlessly and easily. Start commanding your mind today. I am an amazing therapist. You get an audio when you join, when you sign up for Marissa about becoming an amazing therapist. Listen to that every day. On my live training, every day I'd go down, I'd stand outside, I'd listen to Marissa's confidence audio, I'd tell myself an amazing therapist. I'd visualize the session going amazingly, brilliantly. I'm with the client and it all works. It works. This stuff works. It's not woo-woo, it works. It's
Yeah.
genuinely works. So my life changed after the RTT session. Our business has doubled its turnover in the last 2 years,
Wow.
which has allowed, because our mind was free to focus on the business rather than everything that's wrong with us and our life, everything that's right with our lives and us. So our business turnover increased. We got more opportunities, more contracts. We doubled the turnover, which has now allowed myself and Matt to put a manager into that business, which helps me to build my transformation, Lionheart Transformation Academy, which is my work with the Lions. And it's given us freedom, but this is all after RTT. Everything has changed since RTT because, you're just not trapped in turmoil or whatever it is that you're
Yeah.
going through. Whatever experience you're in, you're not in that. So now, Matt's spent 25 years running that business basically in his head. So how he's managed to let go of that, put a manager in and do his RTT training is the power of RTT
Mhm.
support that you get and being, I'm in it already and building it. So he's been listening to me talk about RTT for the last 2 years. And it's just become our life. We're literally living an RTT life, and it's the best life ever. So it changes everywhere. And like Marissa said, you'll do a lot of RTT in your training. I've had a lot of RTT. I go into every part of my life that I want to change.
Mhm.
I have RTT
Yeah.
for it.
And I think that's really important as well. I was speaking to a client the other day and I was saying, oh, she was saying like, oh, well, do you ever do sessions? And I'm like, oh yeah, all the time. And it's, over various things. Recently I had like a massive bout of driving anxiety out of nowhere. And I went and did an RTT session with that, gone. And any time that I feel that there's a sticking point or something that I maybe can't solve myself, RTT is always my go-to. I always say, we're all work in progress. Like I said earlier, Marissa says we're all flawsome. We're always a work in progress. So it's really important as a therapist to have therapy regularly as well. So tell me a little bit more about the Lionheart Transformational Academy. Plus, I've just got to say, because a number of people have been like, I love the lion picture in the background, Rob.
So, well, this is a story. I was in the shop and, I was thinking about this office that I'm creating for this is where I work from. Obviously, we do Zoom sessions. And this is talking about freedom of the mind and manifestation. So I was in the shop and I've seen these pictures everywhere, but they're also, when they're framed, they're quite a bit of money. Next thing, a man rolled up in a van selling these photos obviously at the price as for us to sell in the shop, and it was like the perfect picture. It was there. So Lionheart Transformation Academy, it's all come to me. It's all through my lived experience. Everything that I coach my clients through is through my own transformational experience. So my niche is self-esteem, anxiety, self-sabotage, and shame and guilt. And then coaching people into transforming their lives afterwards, just like the RTC does. So it's like the RTT is like the freedom. And then the RTC and the coaching afterwards is how you then use this freedom. Because once you're left with the freedom of your mind, you're going to start reprogramming that to support you in your life. You're the best beliefs that serving you. All the old beliefs were not serving you. Now these new beliefs are going to serve you. So at Lionheart, we offer that whole transformational package, which starts with a lovely nervous system meditation. So I believe that it all starts with softening your nervous system, relaxing your mind, opening your mind to new suggestion. And then from there, we go into RTT. And then from the RTT, we go into a 3-month transformation where you're coached through that. So we build confidence. And then we go into a lot of shame and guilt and identity work over it, and you're supported all the way. But I'm building this as I go along. So, at the minute, I've got my off. So, for students who are going to niche, I've got my gateway offer. And from the gateway offer leads into one-to-one sessions and another one-to-one session. Then that leads into a deeper 3-month transformation. So it's like a pathway. So you want to support your clients. You want to kind of, if you're going to niche in an area, what is it? What have you transformed in your life? What's in your heart? What do you feel your real purpose is? What do you understand? And then go with that, because people will see the authenticity in that. They'll see, they when you are your best transformation, people see that. And so be your best transformation.
Amazing. So if you want to join myself and Rob and the RTT family, scan that QR code now, book your call with our amazing enrollment specialist. They're such a lovely team. I can't say that enough because like I say, I had the fear. I was like, oh, I don't want somebody to sell to me. What if I don't want to do this? But they were really just such a lovely bunch. They answered all of my questions. They set up my payment plans for me. They were a really, really friendly gang. So Rob, what I was going to say to you actually, because I think we've got a lot of people who kind of jump on these webinars and they're sitting on the fence, a bit like I was for that year. What would you say if there's someone sitting here today and they're thinking, this sounds amazing, but could I really do it?
Yes, you can. So you absolutely can. I've hidden away from everything. I've ran away from everything in my life. And I'll be so openly honest with you. When I went on my first Zoom virtual classroom, I've never been on Zoom before. I never used it in work or anything. And I was suddenly faced with like about 100 people on this Zoom. And I cancel and I didn't do it. And then afterwards, all that I was like, why did I do that? That was my old self. And I was like, no, Rob, you're here supported by amazing people who love you and want you to succeed.
Mhm.
So, the next time I was on there, I was no way with it. I was putting my hand up. I'm here. I'm ready to be seen. I'm ready to speak. And there was no turning back from that point. There really
Yeah,
wasn't. There really wasn't. It's
amazing.
such a
And what
support.
was your experience of the training actually? Because you did the RTT live in London, didn't you?
I did the last Rushton.
Oh, the last Rushton. Okay.
Amazing. It was phenomenal. I remember just driving down that day, so excited. Like again, this is another day. So I've got kind of healed myself, and now this is like my purpose now. This is
Mhm.
me stepping into my purpose. And it's what it was what I've always wanted. It's what I've always dreamed of. One of the trainers, is it Marisol or
Oh,
Marisol?
Mariola.
I think it was Mariola, said to me at
Yeah,
the
she's
train.
great.
Yeah. After we'd done a practice session, and she said, Rob, you are on fire. And I was just like, oh, I've been waiting to hear this all my life. So what, just to tell me you're doing an amazing job at this. This is where you should be. And it just feels like home. You are going to be nervous. You're learning something
Mm,
new. You're gonna be anxious, but just trust us, trust the support, trust Marissa. We've all been there, and every trainer's been there. Everyone on the course has been there. It can feel scary, it can feel nervous, but this is just unfamiliar. And as we
mhm.
know with the mind, the more you do something, the more you repeat something. And that's why I say talk to yourself. Start talking to yourself as an amazing therapist now, because that is reprogramming you already. That's softening your nervous system. It's preparing you to be able to absorb this information, because whatever you're causing resistance, you're not going to be able to absorb it as easily. So, meditate for 20 minutes before you go on a live. Do whatever you can just to soften it, just to soften everything, because no one's trying to trick you, no one's trying to catch you out, nobody's trying to make you wrong. Everybody just wants you to do an amazing job. And when you can take yourself out of it, and it's really hard sometimes to take yourself out of a situation, because you do want to do a good job and you want to do a good job for your clients. But one thing that really valuable, as now I'm a therapist, I've learned is just got to take myself out of it, take myself out. If you're on cam, turn your view of yourself off if that makes you uncomfortable. Do
Mm.
whatever you can, but just take yourself out of it and just be in the moment, and it works.
Absolutely. And I think the really nice thing as well is that sense of camaraderie, isn't there? Because it's kind of like I think you feel a little bit nervous to start with, but then you realize everybody else is in the same boat and suddenly it doesn't feel so bad.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. And you actually just start to relax. And when you make, I think, because we do so much interactive stuff,
Mm.
People aren't making mistakes, they're just learning, but you see
Yeah,
that everybody's learning as well.
yeah, yeah.
Nobody's perfect. We all
No,
make
that's
mistakes.
it.
But it actually doesn't matter making mistakes because the training and the tools are that powerful that you are changing someone.
Hmm.
You're changing them from the first time you speak to them when you start reframing things. And that's when you start changing your clients because they're open, your clients are coming to you because they're open to be a suggestion, they're open to suggestion of living in a different way and feeling a different way. So just from the start off, you're just having a conversation is opening everything. So just do that for yourself as well.
Yeah, amazing. And I've just been, sorry, I was just typing away to the team there. I was asking because actually we've got a London live coming up from the 1st to the 5th of June. So I was just messaging them to say, are there any spaces left? And I've been told, yes, I believe there are a few, but you've got to be fast because the places have almost gone. So if you did want to sign up, I think it's our only planned live for the year so far. So if you did want to be part of that London live 1st to 5th in June, I'm going to be there actually. I'm going down for a couple of days. So jump on board, scan the QR code, speak to our team. You might be able to just squeeze in there if you're really quick now. So scan that QR code and speak to our team. But any final words from you, Rob? Anybody sitting here now, still listening to us actually, almost 2.5 hours in, bless them. Still here, still thinking, yeah, I want to do this, but I'm not quite sure. Any final words from you?
Yeah, there's a reason why you're still listening. There's an absolute reason why you are still listening because somewhere, in your heart there, you can do this. There's something that you're recognizing in Marissa, in myself, in Elise, with what we're talking about. It's connecting with your soul, connecting with you, and you know that there's a reason for it. So just like, there's nothing to fear. So sign up, have the call. And I love that call. I remember sitting in the car having a call about with it's not sales guys, it's support, it's team, it's Marissa's support team. So, have the call, speak to them, find out more and just breathe into it, relax, think about it. But this is a huge opportunity. It is a life-changing opportunity, and it is the best decision I've ever made in my life because it has absolutely changed my life forever. My life, my partner's life around us. I've got such an amazing year ahead of me. I'm like super excited. And we talked about before, I'm going on holidays, but I'm taking my laptop with me and I'll be
Yeah.
working on that because I always want to work. I always want to work. I used to hide in bed doing everything I could not to work, sabotaging work. Now I'm like, I want to work more.
Yeah.
So
Best job in the world,
that's
isn't it?
it.
Well, it doesn't feel like work, does it? When you love what you do and you do what you love, as Marissa says, it never feels like you're working a day in your life.
That's exactly it.
Awesome. Rob, thank you so much for sharing your story, for being so open and so honest as well, because I think there's a lot of people in the chat who I was reading some of the comments while you were chatting there who can relate, who said like you're massively brave and so, so much respect to you for sharing your story today. And I'm so happy for you because when we spoke yesterday, I was like, yes, I'm so excited to get you on this webinar because you just have this lovely energy about you. And I'm so glad that you've gone from kind of surviving to absolutely thriving now. And yeah, I'm so honored to be part of the RTT family with you.
Amazing. I'm going to steal that line from surviving to thriving.
Hey, that's my strap line. Thank you so much, Rob. It's been absolutely brilliant to have you here tonight. Thank you for giving up your time to share your story. And yeah, I'm so very, very grateful to you. Thank you so much. So thank you everybody for staying with us tonight. With still time to book that call, we've got the QR code up now. You have nothing to lose, guys. You've heard it from me, you've heard it from Rob. We're real therapists doing the job. We're out there in the world changing lives, and trust me, it's the most rewarding, amazing job. You heard my story earlier. If you joined earlier, you heard my story. I was working in a horrible corporate, toxic work environment, which was destroying me and which was kind of killing me, and I ended up with a chronic health condition because I didn't listen to my body. I didn't listen to my soul. I didn't listen to my heart. I just pushed through. And actually, having that chronic health condition taught me a huge lesson, two huge lessons, in fact. One was that when you're doing something that you're not aligned with and that you want to do, eventually your body and your mind will speak up and will speak out. Two, that it's really important to talk about your problems, issues. And if you are really struggling with anxiety, share them, get that help. Like I say, RTT completely transformed my life with anxiety, but also the MS, but also that it is, once you're doing something that you love, it doesn't feel like work anymore. You get out of bed feeling excited for the day, excited to help people. I did a client session on Sunday night, actually, and my friend was saying, "You're working on a Sunday night. What, is that not like a real drag?" I said, "No, because I absolutely love this client, and I'm just, seeing the transformation in him over the last 3 months is just incredible." And it really is so, so rewarding. I'm finally doing something which feels like I'm actually making a difference in the world. So I've gone from a horrible corporate world where I was just making fat cats money to working in a world where I'm genuinely helping people. And the most amazing thing is as well that quite often it seems to be happening a lot at the moment that I work with clients and then they go, and then I don't hear from them for a while. And then a couple of them have come to me recently and gone, "Oh, by the way, I've trained to be an RTT therapist too now." And I'm like, wow, it's amazing, because once you experience the power of RTT and it changes your life, you're like, "I want to change the lives of others." So we're on a little mission here. Marissa's on this global mission because obviously we're in the middle of a massive mental health crisis and we are massively short of therapists. So never have we needed you more. So scan that QR code. I think a few people are saying they're unable to scan the QR code. So if we can put the link to book a call into the chat as well, that would be amazing, because I've noticed a couple of people kind of saying that. So yes, scan the QR code, or we've just put it into the chat as well. Book that call. You won't regret it. It's absolutely fantastic. Being part of the family is amazing. Come and experience your own transformation. Like I say, when I first started and did the training, for example, even though I'd done the RTT sessions, there was still a little, a few little parts of me that were like, "Can I do this? Do I have the confidence to do this?" And look at me now. If you'd seen me 10 years ago when I was diagnosed and you'd said to me, "Oh, in 10 years' time, you're going to be sitting on a webinar with Marissa Peer, hosting, talking about your story, on camera in front of 1,100 people," I would be like, I'd be like, "Ha ha ha, get out of town." I wouldn't be. So look, it's taken me from ill, barely being able to get out of bed, barely, stringing a sentence together. And you've just sat here. Thank you so much. You've just sat here for 2.25 hours of me talking with no problems at all. So I always say I'm kind of like a poster girl for RTT and the amazing work that it does. But it's not just me. You've heard Rob's story, and that we're not alone in those stories either. We have so many tales of transformation. And like I say, once you kind of experience RTT for yourself, so many of us then go on to train in RTT because they're like, "Wow, it's changed our lives. Now we want to change the lives of others." So book that call. Don't delay. Don't forget about, the fact that we are going to support you all along the way. So even if you're struggling there, we've got that success guarantee, which is going to help you to get those clients. We're going to work with you to make your business a success, because that's what Marissa wants. Marissa wants more therapists out in the world helping us to support this global mental health crisis that we're currently in. We've never needed therapists more than ever. So book that call, jump on board. Thank you to everyone who has joined me today. Scan that QR code, link in the chat, book that call. Thank you. I just want to say a big thank you to everybody, because I've been watching all of the comments and you've all been absolutely amazing. And those who have stuck to the end, thank you so much. You've been absolutely amazing tonight. It's been brilliant to see you all. It's always really lovely for me as well, reading the kind of comments and stuff. So thank you to everybody who kind of commented about my story. I noticed quite a few of you sort of talking about, issues with chronic health and immune conditions. So don't, feel free to reach out to me. Obviously, I'm part of Marissa's team, so reach out, any support that I can do. And anybody who just wants to have a chat with me either about life as a therapist, just pop your comment in the chat and the team will link you up, because I'm happy to answer any questions as well about life as a therapist. But trust me, it is the best job in the whole wide world. You won't regret it. Thank you to you all for joining me today. I mean, Marissa always delivers an amazing experience, but it was really lovely to hear from Rob today. Like I say, we have so many amazing tales like that from our graduates. And yes, we want you to be one of them. So think of life now. Let's fast forward to a year's time. Let's visualize you as a phenomenal therapist that you are destined to be. We need you. This can change your life, and you could be changing other people's lives in the next year. So thank you everybody for joining me this evening. Again, we're going to leave the QR code just on the screen so that you can scan it and you can book that call. But we're also, I think we've got a little video to run at the end, so don't run off, because actually we're going to show you a little bit of a kind of behind the scenes at one of our RTT lives and a little snapshot of some of our other graduate stories as well. Because like I say, mine and Rob's story is not unusual, absolutely not unusual. So stay behind, Watch that video. If you don't get goosebumps, I will eat my hat, because it's an amazing video that the amazing team behind the scene, Jack and the content team, have put together, especially for you. So book that call, scan that QR code, watch the video. Thank you so much. I'm going to give a quick shout out to Kokoli, I hope I pronounced that right, who's booked a call. Amazing. Come join us. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us this evening, and we'll see you again very, very soon. Stick around for the video. Sending you lots of love. Bye, bye, bye.
RTT has completely shifted the trajectory of my life. It was the best decision I ever made. I'm so grateful I did it, because within that year, I tripled the amount of money I paid in the school.
With RTT, I'm my own boss, can choose my own hours. I can do it to actually suit my own schedule. Yeah, I think just having control basically over your life is amazing.
It gave me freedom. I knew I was never cut out for the corporate world. I was able to have a better work and personal life balance. You know, there's always people that need help everywhere you turn. And just by speaking about it, meeting people, you have business, you have clients coming. Yes, you are making a good living, but you are also transforming lives. You have a purpose and meaning and helping people.
I was probably one of the biggest skeptics when I first started looking at this work. I thought it can't possibly work as well as it does. It really is very rewarding.
My first 3K client.
I signed up my first UK-based client.
Of the 9 discovery calls, I had 7 paid customers.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Before I became an RTT therapist, I had 27 years in corporate IT. If you'd have told me I would have ended up being a therapist, I would have laughed in your face, because it just wasn't on my radar. Suffered a little bit from imposter syndrome, starting something completely new. Then my business for the next kind of 3 years was literally on referrals, and I built a full-time income fairly quickly from it too.
Rapid transformational therapy has given me a tool that really opens up the doorways to being able to do absolutely anything I could ever want to do, to engage with interesting people, to have a massive impact on people's lives.
Each day I wake up and I'll do a little work in the office, then have lunch, take the dogs to a park, come back home, then maybe do an RTT session or a coaching session. It's a really beautiful flow for my life.
With all the tools that I learned, I fell in love with the results that I was already seeing with my companions, with the people that I was practicing. Then I was running a very successful business as an RTT therapist. I have phenomenal results with my clients. It's a job that brings you a lot of satisfaction personally, because you can truly help people.
I graduated in May of 2023, and that was my first 6-figure year. I didn't ever know, honestly, if I was going to get there. It was great, right, that to reach that milestone, but it was also about the way that I was doing it and the results that I was helping my clients achieve through RTT.
It gives me the financial freedom to do what I want to do, because it's such a compelling, wonderful technique that people, once they've had a session, will come back for more, or they'll refer other people to me.
RTT, I would say, is the opportunity for somebody to take back the power that they were born with. We've all got a bright, shiny diamond inside, and sometimes life, parents, schools, that fades a little bit. So RTT is the opportunity to really help somebody to polish up and allow their diamond to shine brightly again.
RTT is life-changing. It gives you all the tools that you need to help others and to see transformations.
I am so grateful to Marissa and all of the RTT trainers and everybody who works at the school, because it has been a really enriching experience for me and continues to be, because I learn something new from every client.
I absolutely love being able to empower my clients using RTT.
I'm here at RTT Live, training another generation of people who are going to go out and change the world. This is the most amazing therapy, but don't take my word for it. We're going to ask them, was it worth it?
This experience was life-changing for all of us. When I opened my eyes in the first session, I woke up like a new person. So glad that we learned the skills to do that for a lot of people that we can help.
I completely feel that I'm a transformed man. I called my manager this week and I told her no for the first time, and I said no twice. There's a lot of people and a lot of kids who need this.
I was telling John that I'm not the same person anymore. And he said, wait for the week to end. You would have upgraded yourself. I didn't think it was possible, but I'm completely changed since Monday to now. That is the RTT family. Like, every single person is invested in you and wants to see you successful. So I'm just so proud and grateful to be here. Thanks, Marissa.
A lot of us here are seekers, right? We've sort of lived our entire lives, certainly all our adult lives, seeking out answers. And we know that there's something more, but we can't quite put our finger on it. I've done Reiki and I've done this therapy and I've done that therapy and I've been working on myself. And then you come here and miracles just come standard.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
When I first somehow came across your I'm Enough program, my life never been the same. And standing here today, it proves it. I love you and thank you with all my heart.
I've done a lot of programs. I'm a trainer myself. My heart and my soul was so fulfilled. How we are also connected together, it just blows my mind. Thank you so much.
I felt very lost until one day I still remember that YouTube ads. What would your life look like if you are a rapid transformational therapist? So I signed up and it literally changed my life. Thank you so much, Marissa.
I've been feeling for so long time that I don't belong. I mean, the first day I belong.
You belong.
Wow.
What you're teaching us is not only changing our lives, we are changing the generation that might come after.
We're changing the world.
Thank you.
I'm so happy that you don't gatekeep this gift, because life in the world's going to be better because of you.
And you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
The moment we change ourselves, that's a first step. I'm not going to take it to the world. I'm just taking it to the next person next to me.
It transformed me as a person and as a therapist, and it's just unforgettable.
The person who walked through these doors on Monday and the person who's talking to you now, there's a complete leap.
We are enough, I am enough, you are enough. You can transform everything with only yourself and with your mind.
This is pretty much the most rapid way of changing yourself that you could possibly come up with. Whatever you want to change, I've got the solution. Whatever problem you have, I've got the solution. Whatever you want to upgrade, I've got the solution. I mean, it sounds arrogant, but this is really the technique that works.
You can achieve whatever you set your mind to, but you doubt your abilities. And when that doubt is taken away, sky is the limit. So for me, truly, this week has been life-changing, and I'm just ready to fly. RTT is most definitely transformational.
I have never felt something like this in my entire life. You are enough, you can do it, and you can change your life.
My daughter asked me to work with her. And I said, of course, you do know I'm going to be the big source of all the problems. I know it too.
For anyone that's debating whether to do it, just take that investment. You're not going to regret it. You can literally do this for the rest of your life and it will pay itself back. So honestly, just do it. Absolutely.
There is no money in the world that is going to give you the tools, the techniques, and the feeling and the experience of this. So throw yourself there and you will be so happy.
If you want a great career, you want a career that gives you 9 things: meaning, purpose, growth, contribution, making a difference, diversity, certainty, significance, and connection. There's not many jobs that give you all those 9, but this does.
RTT has completely shifted the trajectory of my life. It was the best decision I ever made. I'm so grateful I did it because within that year, I tripled the amount of money I paid in the school.
With RTT, I'm my own boss, can choose my own hours. I can do it to actually suit my own schedule. Yeah, I think just having control basically over your life is amazing.
It gave me freedom. I knew I was never cut out for the corporate world. I was able to have a better work and personal life balance. You know, there's always people that need help everywhere you turn. And just by speaking about it, meeting people, you have business, you have clients coming. Yes, you are making a good living, but you are also transforming lives. You have a purpose and meaning and helping people.
I was probably one of the biggest skeptics when I first started